We intend to offend. We will offend. And if you have a delicate sensibility, click the X button in the corner, or if you're on a Mac, the red button in the left corner. Monty, welcome to the show of offending people.
Well, it never happened and I make shit up. For the last couple of weeks, everyone that has asked for a reading, apparently you're all from Scotland, from Hurley in Scotland. You all live the same lives. It's very metaphysical, because we're all one. And I can't read the Akashic Records. I didn't even have a card.
Meow, 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 meow. Well, welcome everyone to another adventure into comedy. As was forewarned, I want to talk about something. After 2 years of doing this show, this comedy show, we have had our first person rage quit on us because we were too foul-mouthed. Now, I'm not going to read the actual thing, but this person essentially said, I like potty humor, I like this, but you are foul too vulgar for me. On one show that wasn't really that comical of a show, but apparently we are too vulgar. But that is why we give the warning. So if the stick is so far up your ass, you can't understand comedy, hit the button that says X or the red dot, because we intend to offend. Now, everybody, welcome to the show. We are joined by the Monty Dean Rex, Melissa Hocking Hughes, Bruce MacDonald, as well as Bruce's son, Brendan. Welcome to our comedy show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
Alphabet agencies, reptilian overlords, the controllers of the moon. I could go on.
Anybody who likes a chuckle.
Yeah,
I was gonna make an Elon Musk comment, but I'll save that for later.
Yes.
Well, he likes a chuckle. Apparently, the latest from Elon is he's planning to buy Coca-Cola and putting the cocaine back in.
Yes. So everyone, let's mourn the loss of our one viewer after 2 years because they couldn't handle a few jokes.
I love the way they go out complaining, though. You know, they've got to go out with complaint. It's like someone. I love it when someone tells you that they're unfriending you on Facebook or something.
Yeah, this is the first. Yeah, this is the first one. It's our first one that actually. It's the first one who actually said, I'm leaving, so I'm going to write a small dissertation telling you why. Other people go, click.
Unsubscribed. Now, everybody that's in the chat room has been here for quite some time, and I ask everyone, what is some of the more offensive things we may have said on this show? If you can remember, write them in the chat. Remind us of how offensive we can be.
As people are thinking.
Camel toe Harris.
Yes, that was a good one. I came up with that.
Yeah, I came up with my own one that she's selling knee pads.
Oh, really?
Now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if you want to get ahead in life.
Okay, I've called women cunts many times.
Yeah, unfortunately, here in Australia,
I say it affectionately. See, there's cunt with a C and cunt with a K. Cunt with the K is affectionate version.
Yeah, here in Australia, it's a term and endearment. It's like, get a It's like, people outside of Australia have to go, hang on, are you calling me that? Are you what? And like, nah. I mean, the word cocksucker could be used 6 different ways.
Yeah.
Plus, Andrew.
Yes.
Whoops, cunt has that German nuance to it with the K.
Yes.
Yeah.
So So the Arcturian poo offensive, the bear shit, I thought that was funny. I guess some saw the actual big pile of bear poop on my front door.
We brought it up 3 times, so it's good material.
The cum dumpster phrase, yeah, I've been using that one since the late 90s.
Dealing with
there's a challenge. There's an open challenge to trump it all. So look out.
Yes, thank you, Bira. I challenge all of you chicken shits. Yeah, I've called many of my audience members chicken shits.
Yeah, it's weird, like You remember when like Andrew got Bruce and myself to do it, and everyone's like, "Oh no, whatever." When Andrew says one sentence, "Go on, you chicken shits." Oh, I'm typing now. I'm typing. Like we do it. Like, whatever.
Yes,
Commonwealth people. Actual poo. That is actual. That's the actual poo.
Yes. They rub it in.
That's some bear scat right there. I know.
Yeah, that is literally one step away from my one step that goes out of my door.
Now, for reference, how big are those stones?
Big. Let's just say that thing when you actually like see it, it's probably 2 feet round, and that top big chunk is probably the size of my fist.
Yeah, because like
as I said, we've talked about this many times. That bear waddles up. Oh, and maybe I take a shit in front of the Galactic historian's house. And just fucking. And if you zoom in, you can see fresh berries that are undigested. Everything nuts.
So you know the age-old question, Monty, when people are trying to get consent to certitude, does a bear shit in the woods? The proper answer to that is, I suspect anywhere they feel like it.
Yeah, exactly. Does the Pope shit in the woods? That's a
So what is the greater spiritual message, Michelle? I'm sorry, Melissa. What is the greater spiritual message of a bear taking a shit right in front of the Galactic historian's door?
I don't know. It's pretty dangerous, isn't it? Because the shamanism of the bear is one of the sacred five. It's meant to mean unconditional love. And if it craps on your front door, I don't know what that means, but unconditional love says, no, I'm crapping on you. So it could get ugly.
I don't know, but what's your first thing, Andrew? Your first thing you ask is like, is it me?
Yeah, was it me? Did I do something?
I mean,
did I offend you, bear?
I mean, I live on a large property, and the bear had anywhere it'd like to, but no, right here where it could be seen, but not at the door. There was a buffer, so you could step out and then find it.
Yeah, because I open the door, you have one step down, and literally it's right there.
Maybe it's just a calling card. Maybe it was just, I'm sitting at the door, I've been waiting forever, you're not opening it, I'll leave a calling card.
Well, I can see it's like its hands on my steps.
I'm giving birth. Push.
Right.
Push.
Because that thing had to shoot out of him to come out and make a big circle like that.
I'm going to name it Boo Boo. I'm going to name it
He had
Boo
a lot
Boo.
of berries. There was a lot of fiber going on.
And nuts. That's nuts and berries. Like he must have been seriously clogged up, because I talk about colonics all the time, you know, to the point they call me the colonic guy. And then there it is. He must have been really clogged up.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to try and do some marketing for Andrew. It's like, yeah, he's about spirituality, and he wants you to stick a hose up your ass and spray water.
You need it.
Yeah, I know. I took that advice, and it's an interesting experience, but I felt so much better, because remember, people, life is better after a big poo.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, did that bear all of a sudden have like galactic wisdom come into him?
I mean, floating on air, basically.
Yes, thank you, Colleen. I am the colonic crusader. So once again, I will ask people to look back at all the offensive things we said. Really think, what are the most offensive stuff we had said? We are curious. After 2 years of doing it, when did we start? May 2020?
I think April. Yeah, it was
April 2020.
Yeah, a month after lockdown started. Or actually, a couple of weeks after lockdown. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're like 2 years, 1 month.
I haven't had a chance to be offensive yet.
Well, don't worry. Don't worry. We'll give you an opportunity.
Melissa, you're a woman surrounded by men being smart and intelligent, so I'm sure leftards would be offended already.
You know,
and you're white.
I was in a Zoom room funeral yesterday, and I swore. I cursed. that was a great moment. But after I did, everyone else did, so it was okay. So I clearly I opened the door for everyone. That was good.
Well, I said later on because I think you both left at the time. It's like, because he's here, isn't he? And I'm like, can you imagine John not turning up to his own memorial? And it all laughed. Oh, hang on. I said, John, I have to take a drink.
There you go. You got to take a drink.
Oh.
Yeah, I like how Bruce. Oh, we're doing a drinking game. I'll get the most potent alcohol in the house.
All I had.
And what? 3 minutes later, I don't feel that well, Mr. Stark.
Yeah, it's been years since I had a shot of rum.
Brandon,
Yes.
Bruce's son, are you there?
I don't think he is.
I don't see him in the room yet.
Okay. He's a millennial still trying to figure out how to get Zoom on his phone.
Exactly. Yeah. There's another notebook back there, but he said that the speaker wasn't working. I don't know if that's true or not.
Because you love your son, and you're like, oh, he may be lying.
Well, it was
Yes,
working
okay.
it was working when I gave it to him. So
Yes.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank
that
you,
sounds like
Eric's
a plan.
iPhone. Yes, we did dub them Q-tards.
Yeah, and
Yep.
actually, we had some XQ members come on
Oh, yeah.
and say thank you. And they're still around because if you follow Sean David Morton, he's been dragged into this massive soap opera with Juan O'Savin or Savin or whatever his name is. And apparently there's two Juans. One's a guy called Wayne and the other one's JFK Jr. or some horseshit. And it is pure, it's pure soap opera. Now, it's okay for Sean to sort of point it out because you want to point out the controlled opposition / utter horseshit. Follow the plan. What's the plan? I'm not telling you. It's The Last Jedi all over again. That's the fucking problem.
Right. As for Juan and the other Juan, they are both full of shit. Okay?
Yeah.
I remember ripping on Juan O'Savin long before Trump lost the election, and then after he lost the election, because this was the guy saying the 2 weeks of darkness has come. Trump is going to win. And he kept saying that all the way until April the next year.
yeah.
Yeah. Just yeah.
Where do these sorry, Monty, go ahead.
Oh, it's like, the end of the world, people. Apparently, once we reach the 9th end of the world, we get the 10th one free. But go ahead, Bruce, because I sense you've got a good question to put forward.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, like, where do these people come from? I actually read that book. I read it on air when I used to have a radio show in 5 mornings a week. And same slot you had, Andrew, if I remember correctly. And
I remember.
I read the whole book over 2 weeks. And it was given to me by one of his people, and I was promised an interview by the time it was done. But by the time I was done reading and on air and analyzing his book, he didn't want to do an interview with me. And what I got back was, I got a feeling Bruce and I are going to disagree about a few things. And it's just which fishing net are you going into? Are you going into Klaus and Ari's transhumanism digital world, or are you going back into the Abrahamic net? That's really the two decisions, and they're not, neither one of them are good decisions. Yeah. So Juan O'Savin is the last ditch to gather up the people who still have that Abrahamic end time energy in them, and it's all of them. It's the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims. It's very prevalent in all those communities.
We will have to rename him Klaus Abraham.
Yeah. Yeah, he's trying to do a dead cat bounce on the Abrahamic scriptures.
It's dead bat bounce. It's a dead bat bounce.
Dead bat bounce.
Is that Klaus Schwab? Because my nickname for him is Anal, because Anal Schwab works perfectly.
Yeah.
A Bond villain. He dresses in Japanese feudal Japan type costumes, has a German accent, and then gets behind a podium and says, "You will own nothing and you'll be happy, yeah?" And I'm like, Are you trying to out Bond villain a Bond villain here? Like, I thought Hillary was a good Bond villain, but now you've got Klaus Anal Schwab.
So that costume he wears is actually his wizard robes.
He wishes.
He's part of the cult of Saturnella. The whole seriously, that is his actual official wizard robes.
Oh,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
but you tell the kids of today, and they won't believe you.
I like the shoulders, though. I do. I think I could get away with that on this mountain.
Actually, yeah. It's very Palpatine-esque. It's even in Star Wars, the greatest villain in the galaxy was a politician.
You will cut the Avoca now, and you will like it.
You'll feel just start talking to your Nicaraguans in a German accent and freak them out.
Oh my God!
What the hell is wrong with Gringo, man?
Yeah. Hey, Gringo.
You feel doing what I tells you.
Let's talk about the Twitter in the elephant room. Mr. Muskie.
Well, can I just start straight off the bat? The Biden administration they're freaking out because the leftards have been saying, Twitter's a private company, they can do what they want. And so Elon bought it and made it private company again, and they're all freaking out. It's a threat to democracy. It's going to be hate speech and all this other stuff. And the Biden administration's response was, we're going to start a department of the Ministry of Truth.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the disinformation department or something like that. And it's like, and the person who's running it believes Russiagate and believes Elon's a threat and all this type of stuff. And it's like, I'm glad I'm energetically pulling my way from the global narrative, because this movie's awesome. Because you're just watching it unfold like, what are you people doing?
Yeah, I'm loving watching the whole Elon thing. I think this is great fun. It's right up there with Johnny Depp's trial.
Right.
Well, I have to admit, I have been riveted to watching the Johnny Depp trial.
Back to your room.
And the other day when they had the guy on that was in his car driving around vaping.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Yeah.
And then some of the just stupid questions from her lawyers, like when the lawyer objected to his own question because they didn't want him to answer it.
How hysterical is it? It's really like you couldn't script it. It's so good. But it's normally this stuff, and Mont can back me up, I'm not really into the whole celebrity thing. Particularly in America, where people put way too much importance on celebrity. But Johnny Depp, it's been a fascinating thing. We've watched in astrology, most decent astrologers for the last 4.5 years have talked about how the astrology is converting now. Now we're going to see corruption. Everything's going to be exposed. We're going to see justice. And here and then we hit pandemic and it's gone complete opposite way. We're finally actually seeing, with Johnny Depp, 3 years ago, there was the trial in the UK, which was so unjust and surprising in the justice system in the UK, how unjust that was. And it actually wasn't between him and Amber Heard. It was between him and a tabloid that he was suing for saying that he was a wife beater, and somehow lost that trial. And for 3 years, he's been trashed. He's been dumped by Disney. They've dumped Jack Sparrow from, Pirates of the Caribbean. How the hell could you even do that? J.K. Rowling, scumbag that she is, dumped him first from the Fantastic Beasts franchise.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And he's had 3 years of absolute hell of people not believing the truth, not believing actually what's going on. Whether or not he wins this lawsuit, and let's face it, it's going to be pretty bizarre if he doesn't. But the truth is already out there. He's already won. Like he's
already won.
Managed to,
and I actually think his team isn't trying to win, because defamation is extremely hard to prove. Yeah, and she will never work in that town again. And she has a baby that supposedly came from Elon Musk as a donor. Like some of the weird things that are coming out, like I could only imagine how medicated this woman is. Like it came out the truth that she has borderline personality disorder as well as histrionic personality disorder.
Yeah,
and those are some serious things. I can only imagine how medicated she is, and like they're going to get her on the stand. They're going to lean into her. They're really going to.
Actually, she hits the stand soon. I'm actually quite scared for her. I don't.
We'll see her late.
Humiliate herself.
Yeah, we're going to see her late next week.
Oh my God!
Late next week.
It's beautiful to watch the truth coming out, because he's a gentle soul, this man,
right? And
he didn't deserve that. But then this has been a massive theme in the last 7-8 years across Western society and Western justice systems, where where abusers have been using the court system to keep abusing their victims, and it's been appalling across the board. I can tell you personally that I've just seen some hideous stuff with this. And so to see that finally turning around is amazing. And the fact that greater forces have used a celebrity, this televised amazing celebrity case to actually expose this has been really quite cool. I'm not usually into this stuff, but I do love the exposure and the capture of this. And at the same time, where Elon Musk has taken ownership of Twitter, that's one of the most entertaining things I've watched. It's to watch people freaking out and all the tantrums. It reminds me of Brene Brown, I'm getting out of Spotify because of Joe Rogan. Man, she made that call. I lost so much respect for that woman when she, and so did many others, when she's cracked the shits and thrown a tantrum, and it was such an uneducated decision and tantrum to throw. And, it's this with Twitter doing what it's doing. I can't wait to see what he does with it. I mean, to me, he's a massive, as you said, he's a polymorphic comedian. I love what Elon Musk brings out.
Also, for those who have no idea what Melissa just said, crack the shits means slightly upset.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks for that, Monty.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to help out. Well, hang on, your Spawn's turned up. Let's talk about that.
Hey, good.
So I want to say why I've been fascinated at watching this trial. Well, I you all know I have special abilities, right? I'm watching the lawyers, the little baby lawyers. So I've been watching on a law channel called Legal Bites, and then Ricada Law also. And I'll flip back and forth between them. Even in between sessions, I'll pop back in and watch 15 minutes here. I'll catch up, and then I'll make 8 hours and hours of it. I am looking at the karma of this entire environment that has millions of people involved to its outcome. Yes. And ever before in history, this level of karmic retribution against a woman who falsely accused a man, and the woman who was butt nut psycho and got everyone to believe her.
Yeah.
I mean, it's come out. She did take a shit in the man's bed and tried to blame it on the dog. Okay.
Like someone actually shared on. Someone shared on Twitter with the Carl Rittenhouse prosecution and Amber Heard's lawyer defense. This lawyer thing's not that hard, is it? Because they're so bad. Like, how did you? What did you just buy a suit and walk into a courthouse? I'm here, my lad.
Yeah.
How did she find them? Like, I guess she had trouble finding anyone that would believe her version.
No. She lied to them, and they believed her. Yeah. And as the deposition started going and the trial going, they're beginning to realize that the shit that they told her was all that she said was all lies.
Yeah, I actually
so they have to change it, right? They have to change shit on the fly, because all they're doing right now is just trying to interject out to get one member of the jury to say no. So this is why I've said since day one when I started watching this trial, he's not here to win the $50 million because she doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It came out this week. She didn't donate the money to charity that she was supposed to. And all her Aquaman 2 has been cut down to like 10 minutes now. So whatever money she's got coming in, she'll never be able to repay the $50 million. And get this, she had what was a $100,000 a month wine habit.
Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah. She's claiming
$100,000 a month.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
I mean, I can get a box of wine for $10. I mean, that's just
yeah, well, you would, Mont.
Well, I'm not Amanda Heard, so but I have seen like with her lawyers, it's the most classic "she's not going to sleep with you, dude" moment ever. Yeah, we'll believe you.
So that's what happens if somebody is asking, is she swimming it? No, $700, $900, $1,500 bottles of wine.
Wow.
Nothing cheap to her. Okay.
Unbelievable.
And then claims that she paid her own way in that. Like, I always remain financially independent. I'm thinking you weren't even financially independent enough to pay for your own wine. Like,
right. So let's talk about the karma of this court case.
Yes.
What's going on between these two, and then all the people that are involved in the court? What could have possibly have gone wrong here?
Well, how far back do you want to go?
How many lifetimes do you want to go back?
This is a comedy show. It doesn't matter.
All right.
Oh my God!
I did like how they're talking in questioning Mr. Depp, and like you cut your fingers. Like, I play guitar. It's my first love. Why would I cut my finger off? Yeah. And she actually apparently complained about that. Oh yeah, but half the time it's just old men playing guitar, and Johnny had this massive grin on his face. He plays guitar. He plays guitar with Alice Cooper. That's how much of a guitar player he is.
Yeah.
Right. It's got a
It is,
100-city tour. It's a 100-city tour with Alice Cooper. Exactly.
Yeah. He doesn't suck. But I mean, is it like there's the personal aspect of the karma, but also it seems to be not a show trial, but it's the focus point. I mean, the hashtag Me Poo is popular. This is the level we're at.
Get this. At the height of hashtag Me Too, its peak in height and trending, hashtag Me Poo has exceeded it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the next one is hashtag Me Poo Too.
Yeah. What I love is
it has beat the entire liberal cancel movement.
Yeah, and if you're like the baby boomer generation, that hashtag is referred to as the pound sign. So you had pound me too, and now it's pound poo too.
Okay.
There you go. You're working on your offence record. Good job.
Why is everyone saying I should pound them?
What you were saying before, Andrew, the karma thing's fascinating, and the many past lives of coming into retribution in this lifetime is really cool. But what you're saying before too, the ripple effect of what's going around the planet, so many people. There was one lady that met him outside the courthouse as he was leaving with a bunch of flowers, and she'd been a victim of this system's abuse, of her abuser using the courts to further terrorize and harass her and her kids. And she handed him a bunch of flowers. And the sweet smile on his face, looking at his little bunch of flowers, was so, that's when I thought, yeah, you've already won. Like that was beautiful. But from that sweet smile, the ripples are going out, where we're seeing, as you said, truth is coming out on top of these absolute bullshit artists that have gone out there with the most atrocious lies. And when the justice system bails these people, is that they make these outrageous lies in courtrooms. They should have to and the victim has to disprove it. They should have to prove their bullshit before the victim even has to address it. And so they come in with these outrageous lies, these outrageous claims, and someone has to defend themselves against them. It should be they have to prove it first. They actually have to come in with genuine evidentiary support showing these bullshit claims. But I think that's starting to turn around. Systems abuse has become so prevalent in the UK, the US, in Australia, in New Zealand, and in South Africa, that it's coming around now where the courts are becoming so fatigued from the overload of this rubbish, this form of abuse. And that's what this is. It's a vicious weapon. I was actually in a courtroom myself as a witness on Wednesday, like a few days ago, and saw the same thing happen. I saw these people that lied and that have done the most atrocious thing over the last 5 years, and the overseeing judge absolutely had no time for their shit. It was spectacular to watch. It was so good. It was just, and I was on Zoom in this courtroom, and I was just trying so hard to keep the poker face on, like, so just trying not to react to, it's about time. But it was, I'm watching this happen. Like, I actually saw it live happening in another courtroom completely, where finally truth is coming out and justice has a chance of actually being in balance again, bringing balance back again, which is what it's always meant to have been. You know, the whole lady with the, but it's
Brandon, have you finally joined us?
I have, yeah.
So what is your view on Me Poo?
It's a little tough for my generation. You got to tread lightly. It's like walking through a minefield, you know. It's just you got to suss
everywhere.
You got to suss the figure out how they are.
This is Bruce's son, Brandon. Welcome to the show. Your virginity has been popped.
Yeah.
Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. Exactly.
I'm sure he hasn't heard that before.
Yeah.
And you know, the boys of Brandon, the boys are trying to outdo how offensive they've been over the last 2 years. And given that you've just referred to yourself as our generation, you've made us all feel old. I think you might be vying for the offensive thing. What do you think?
Oh, no. It's simple. Do you want to, anytime I have that type of shit about, oh, you're old, it's like, do you want to live to my age? Shut the fuck up.
But so more
love.
about, well, no, it's actually really good, Brett. So what's the response of effectively your generation, Brandon? What are people doing when they're watching this hysterical courtroom?
Well, my social circle is primarily construction, tradesmen, stuff like that. So it's a bit of the edge of society, I'd say. So you know, they're just typical guys. They go at it, and if they get rejected, they get rejected. But me, like, I like to just get to know the person, see if they're like going down that alley, and generally avoid them like a shark in the water.
Especially those that leave a turd in the bed.
Yeah.
Something like that. You don't want to deal with crazy. It's never worth it. Never
Yeah,
worth
yeah.
it.
Hand over the clipboard and say, please fill this out, madam. You need to fill out this questionnaire. And if you get if you get enough points, then we'll continue with this conversation.
Think about the train of thought that would have had to occur for her to crap on the bed.
He's crushing it.
I've been initiated.
Thank you.
Justice
Thank you. Oh boy. Oh,
that's so good. You're gonna get a coffee.
So I want to say this. As I said, I've been addicted. I'm looking at these karmic journeys, and as I said before, I don't think he's really in it to win it. He's in it to humiliate and get the truth out there. And I watch him laugh at some of these people, you know, the way that they're doing, and then how their idiotic defense is just trying to put up these walls, and it just doesn't work. But at the same time that, you know, hashtag #MePoo, Twitter has been taken over by Elon Musk. And what else is going on? Ukraine we're around month 2 now of Ukraine.
Mm-hmm. So been around 2 months.
All right, so let's start with Twitter. Oh, I got to put my camera on. So here's a question. And, you know, I first had this question at the end of The Social Network, the wonderful movie that Jonathan Demme did on the creation of Facebook. You've all seen it, right? Like The Social Network?
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you want to hear my review of that? It's one sentence.
Uh-huh.
An arsehole with money is still an arsehole.
That's pretty good. All right. But at the end of the movie, they just have a caption that goes across and gives the valuation of Facebook. And they valued it at that time at like 20 billion. This is like, I think that movie came out in 2010. And now Elon just bought Twitter for 44 billion. Now everybody on this call knows how much servers and cables cost. And I mean, the actual physical infrastructure behind Twitter is probably not more than $500 million. I mean, you'd be amazed what you could buy with $500 million.
No. Just the Twitter headquarters is nearly $1 billion.
Okay, so there's another 40. So the other 43 billion is pure. What is it?
Okay.
What's the how does the market value that? Is it the statistics? Is it the access to data? What is it?
7,500 employees, with the average employee making at least 100K. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
All right. So do the math there. Now, they also do a tremendous amount of research with AI. They have a research department and an implementation department, and that has intrinsic values to it. And then the advertising value, they're what was it? They're making, I think it was 130 million in advertising, which is nothing. Sorry, 1.1 billion 300 million in advertising. Where Facebook is making 115 billion in advertising. So Twitter has failed at monetizing what they are. Now, the thing is, Twitter has become the home for news aggregation. As you've noticed over the years, all of a sudden they're citing a Twitter post as being a real news source.
Yep.
Okay. Right. So the value of Twitter is it's in its employees, and then the actual hardware that they have, because it's a worldwide hardware system. And it's probably a 10 to 11 billion in hardware alone. Okay.
Right.
And then the rest is market cap, is the actual digital market cap.
Right.
Yeah. There's the we got it right up here. All the stuff. There's their salaries.
It's like the .com crash in 2000, where that was inflated. But what I guess you're saying is there's actual reason for the value now, because they're doing something. Back then it was like, I've got a domain name and it's worth $4 billion. Why? Because everyone else says so. But But also, I mean, Twitter is the small one. You've got like Facebook, YouTube, and then Twitter. Am I missing? They're the big three, aren't they? Like, I'm not missing anyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Facebook's
on top of that,
like,
what I want to say is Tim Pool said this on his show, and I absolutely agree with this. Elon Musk bought proof. He didn't just buy Twitter; he bought proof.
Evidence.
And the day of that the sale was being completed, all these algorithms started to suddenly disappear. People that have been banned for years, their accounts are suddenly back. Everything on the Twitter sphere is changing. And you know that they're destroying records right now because what they did is lied to the government. Right. He bought proof. It cost him $44 billion to prove the shadow state. Okay, that's what it did. And
Max
he got
Egan,
proof.
Max Egan's account's back. If you're aware of,
and he's dead.
Max Egan's not dead. Is he dead?
He's not
I don't think
dead.
so.
No,
He's
not Max
dead.
Egan. That was the other guy. Sorry.
Yeah. The
Wow.
other guy.
is Trump back?
No, he said he's got his own social media, so he won't go back. I think they should just reinstate his account so we can see his old tweets. But he said he won't go back. The big step is if Alex Jones can come back on, and that will be fun. And all of this could have been what's the word I'm looking for? Ignored, or it shouldn't have happened if they left Babylon B alone. If they left the Babylon B alone, Elon would have bought the fucking thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Look, exactly it, Andrew. That's why I was equating the similar thing to the trial at the moment. He bought truth.
He bought the truth.
Yeah, he bought the truth, and he's that's why I love that he actually pulled it off. That was very clever. And the other thing that happened when the algorithms all shifted too, so many people lost followers. And so I grabbed, I don't know if anyone else did this, but I grabbed the opportunity to kind of unfollow without offending people. Oh, you lost followers too. Oh, grab the opportunity. Well, everyone's losing all their followers. Excellent. But yeah, like Mark Hamill had suddenly lost 2,000 followers or something. Like everyone had lost thousands of followers. They were like, has everyone else suddenly got a lot less followers? What's going on? And that was interesting. At the same time that the algorithms dropped down, a lot of accounts lost a huge amount of followers.
Strangely enough, the left-leaning accounts lost a lot of bots, and the right-leaning have moved up, where Joe Rogan got 90,000 in 2 days and stuff like that. And it's just going through Twitter. It's instead of finding something to make fun of, you're just giggling along because all these accounts of like, hey, I'm back, and so I've 60,000 people followed me yesterday. Thank you.
So the next logical question is, who is Elon Musk and why did he do this?
We talked about that, and Andrew said it beautifully. He's a wonderful polymorph. He's probably one of my favorite entertainers on the planet because he can.
He wanted to stick it to the system and say, ha, 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 I'm a billionaire, when nobody cared when Amazon bought Washington Post.
Yeah.
Why is this billionaire buying Twitter any different than the other billionaires buying all the newspapers?
And buying all the newspapers is worse. Because Twitter, Elon just wants to sort of have balance and free speech. But have you read the Washington Post? I mean, is that biased at all? Or is there any journalism there going on? It's interesting. I had my point and I forgot it. Thank you.
The beauty of this too, though, is that, in the last 2.5 years, globally, in Western society or in privileged society where we have electricity, governments in the UK, in the US, in Australia, and everywhere else passed bills to filter any media internationally that came into their countries. And so they passed a bill that was incredibly foul, where they were denying people in the country access to genuine information from around the rest of the world. They don't want people talking. They realise the power of social media. And so you get limited news. And so often I'll find like friends in the US and say, what's actually going on? I'll tell them what's happening. And unfortunately, we still do have international connections. So word does get around. But I know anything that I see in the papers and everything here in Australia about Ukraine, I don't even look at the articles that they're sharing here because I know it's being filtered and restricted and all the rest. I actually want to know what's going on for real. And so Twitter, the unleashing of Twitter like this is, as you say, he's brought the ability for people to actually get genuine information where it's not going to fall under any of those governmental, nationally based bills that are limiting that information. And that's kind of cool. You're going to start getting actual information of what's occurring globally.
And it's
also,
interesting as well.
You also don't take the power away from the big brother without them coming after you. Okay, because he took a powerful tool from the media away before the midterm election, and no matter what, however his free speech platform turns out, I believe it's going to be equally evil against the conservatives and the libs. But in the beginning, the libs are going to get dunked on and dunked on and dunked on because many of them become pure sucking psychopaths.
Yeah, well, that's the response you've seen. Like the leftards are freaking out because Elon wants free speech, but it's not their free speech, and it's fascinating. Like this is how clown world we are. The left want to control information, and like actually, Elon shared Robert, if you can find it. A meme of like in 2000 there was the left-right paradigm, and there's a guy here, and a guy here, and then like 2010 they've moved, and then 2021 it's way over here, like the way the goalposts have moved in the left-right. And if you stayed center, we're becoming by even Bill Maher said this, I haven't changed, everyone else has. By people that have stayed the same for the last 20-30 years, the goalposts have moved, and all of a sudden someone that was slightly left is now right wing. People in the center are definitely right wing, and to be left wing you have to get on an aeroplane and then a Winnebago and then probably a speedboat to get to the far left. Yeah, sorry, I just had a flashback of the plot from 2012, the movie. How do you survive a crustal pole shift? Well, a Winnebago, a limousine, and a Cessna. No one saw that movie, did you? Yeah. or because the people that did see it, like, you don't need to see that.
The cool thing about this is we get to be observers. You get to sit in the front row and watch karma play out on the stage in front of you. You don't actually have to be involved in it. And that's really all I'm doing with Twitter, as much as I'm doing it with Johnny Depp's trial, but it's the cool thing is we get to sit back and watch it and watch where it goes. It could be really powerful or it could be disastrous.
Well,
we just get to watch it.
Yeah, another thing that's come out from the Johnny Depp trial is how they're broadcasting it all, and the media and everyone's focused on it. And did you remember Ghislaine Maxwell's court case?
Yep.
How nothing, like she was charged for child trafficking, but we don't know who she sold the kids to.
Right, because they don't want that to come out.
Oh, of course not.
Shortly after her trial ends, the other guy who knows everything died in the French jail, and he got Epsteined. Okay?
Yeah, nothing sus. And also, it's coming up to the 3rd anniversary of Jeffrey Epstein not killing himself. So
you're keeping a record of the anniversary of that?
No, I can read, Melissa. Someone else put that. It's like, it's coming up to 3. Just letting you know. Remember.
It's a wise use of being a lazy Time Lord. I don't know that.
Yeah. I read other people's posts. Yeah.
So somebody is asking, what is the purpose of the Johnny Depp trial? Karmic retribution and resolution for all those who have suffered at the hands one way or another of that subject matter and had their whole lives ruined. And you're seeing the redemptor trial. He was a hardcore drug addict and got off the drugs just to get his vengeance on her. He cleaned his act up.
And also, there's an element of by showing that if you're a lying scumbag bitch, you can't get away with it, because that actually interferes and affects real victims of abuse. And so if someone comes forward, believe all women, well, why? If they're lying, why should I believe?
Yeah.
Even I've had interesting conversations with people where I point out, males have domestic violence as well. Now it's only 5%. I'm not. It's not either or, but you cannot ignore that 5% because suicide in men is through the roof because domestic violence is mainly for females, understandably, because men are unique individuals. But there's also the flip side where women aren't really that physical, but they've got a mouth on them. Actually, there's a group here in Australia. I can't remember what, but I got their slogan is domestic violence has no gender. And it should be for both. I mean, it's 95 to 5%, but why ignore the 5%?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes those 5% just need. Sometimes those 5% just need to be ignored. So mob rules.
Yeah, well, strangely enough, if we bring in the LGBTQT73IG, whatever they're fucking called, they're the minority trying to control everything. Look what happened to Disney. Like, we're pushing transgender and all this politics to 7-year-olds. Why is our stock falling? Because you're ignoring 95% of the population.
Oh, yeah. During all this, the House of Wokedom has begun to fall. It started with Disney, and now we're seeing it at Discovery Time Warner. They have completely dismantled their entire diversity, equity, and inclusion department. And the main lady that did it, they didn't even let her in her office. She came into the parking lot. They came out with her shit and gave it to her and escorted her off the lot.
Oh, and CNN's paid subscription thing.
CNN Plus failed.
21 days, or it lasted a month?
21 days. It was supposed to go a full month, and they lost $300 million. Now, Discovery Time Warner is now $3 billion. Has to cut $3 billion in 7 months, and $300 million of that was from CNN Plus.
So, speaking of Warner, very quickly, in the sort of DC world, they ignored Johnny Depp, but they're supporting, or they were supporting Amber Heard. Turd Heard, prime creator, writes the best jokes, but also Ezra Miller, who plays the Flash.
Yes,
constantly he's getting arrested for beating up fans,
beating up women. No, beating up women. Yeah.
Yeah, and Henry Cavill cannot play Superman, or Ben Affleck can't play Batman, or whatever. It's like someone's gone, you've bet on the wrong people, because really, how are you going to make money with Amber Heard and Ezra Miller as your products?
Exactly. Yeah. And now get this. So David Zaslav, the guy that's Discovery Time Warner, the head of everything, he has made a declaration to all creators: if it doesn't make money, you're fired.
Oh, wait. Are you saying a business is actually trying to make money finally? Oh,
right. Okay. So this is why I'm saying we are going to see in the next few months the beginning of the fall of the House of Wokedom.
Nice.
Okay. And Disney still has all of those woke personalities in all of their higher up echelons because Iger brought them all in. And I know for a fact right now it's a civil war in Disney right now, a complete civil war.
Mm.
So where is everybody going to go? I mean, the right's been decimated. We did that at the beginning of the show with Juan Savin and this whole sort of underpinning Trump narrative. The left's being decimated. What's going on here?
Alt center. That's the new one. The alternate center. I identify as alt center.
Now, interesting enough, the leftards would say that you're right wing because, actually, the leftards call everything right wing if you don't agree with them. Have you noticed that as well? Like, those far left idiots won't engage in conversation, debate, or discussion. And it's, I'm right, you're wrong. And that's there's people on the left. I use Bill Maher as an example because he's the only one who's talking about it, where he's still a lefty. But like, I'm sure all of us we would have called ourselves left in the 90s. And this is where the goalposts have changed. Then you've got this far left, the extreme far left. I mean, when people, you're defending the right. Well, no, we've been pointing out the right, the far right and the alt-right and the extreme right. They're all fucking morons. We've known for decades they're morons. What? I do need to go over that ground. By the way, the left are matching it. It's as one rises, another will match.
It's going to be like a political magnetic pole shift is what's going on. Hot tub time machine, man. It's like crazy. There's like, this is what's so funny is that, people are so conditioned to having some kind of authority created encampment that you go to. And, people, well, who's right, who's wrong? And like both sides are being decimated, and people are just going to have to stand up and go, I am a human being. I exist. I am. And that's the resting point. Yeah, I am that I am. I am what I am.
Well, interesting enough, like, will they try and save the left-right paradigm, or are they going to use different labels? Because if the left and the right, like the far side, the center seems to be the right place to be, kind of thing. So, I mean, why not have both options? However, like, will they create new terms or whatever it is? Oh, that's just not right.
He's funny though.
Yes, but because I don't see they'll still want the premise of left right, that dual binary, to still have that false choice. I was thinking about it earlier, where like you defend Trump, it's like the other option was fucking Hillary Clinton. So,
I think clearly the bigger question is: are human beings meant to be governed on this scale? Are we meant to be governed on what everybody wants to go to a global scale of governance? Most people have been experiencing elevated levels of frustration since we went the municipal loss of power, the state and provincial loss of power. Federalization has been chafing my ass most of my life, and now they want to go to globalization. So if the political magnetic pole shift is going to happen, we're going to go back to some form of interconnected communities where we share what's truly beneficial.
If you were to take the corruption out of government, it would actually be a decent place to live, and the system could work. And they would have every 10 or every 15 years, there would have been constitutional reform to deal with the evolving, how technology has to change with the law. The laws have to change with the technology.
Yeah, because I've sort of basically said that, the system on paper looks awesome, but then you've got the corruption. And there are people saying, oh, the system doesn't work, we should remove it completely. Like, well, kind of no. Do you want every human to be, at this point, in this moment of meow, do you want humans to be their own sovereign being? No, without doing the inner work. Seeing how I'm crafting this so I don't get slammed by the Galactic historian. If you do the inner work and you tap into your multidimensionality, yes, of course. However, you kind of need rules like, traffic lights. It's a great concept because like you don't want to be hit by somebody.
Yes.
So people have been saying since the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, we've been in a tailspin. No, we've been upwards failing. Yeah. We've been failing upwards. Mm-hmm. And the corruption is getting, every generation, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. If you go back to the 1980s, the news was not as controlled as it is now. And if somebody in government did something wrong, the story stayed in the news until that guy was out. Yes. One Republican put his toe across the bathroom thing and he was labeled gay. Okay? Yeah. Okay? And now you have Matt Gaetz with underage prostitutes everywhere. And no one doing a thing about it.
Can you imagine, Andrew? Can you imagine taking either yourself or someone? Robert, stop doing that. Andrew, taking someone from 1985 or yourself from 1985 and bringing you to now, like 82 to like Well,
you would need some kind of hot tub time machine, Monty.
Yeah, I'm just throwing out there. I mean, the TARDIS may work as well. The TARDIS does have a hot tub. Let's be fair. But let's do a comparison from the 1980s and the 2020s, where Ronald Reagan has dementia and it may affect the running of the country. Let's go to Joe Biden.
That's why I said the 80s with Reagan. Example, we got the Iran-Contra hearings. Guess what? We would never get the same effectiveness of the Iran-Contra hearings. I remember watching that stuff live, how big of a deal it was with all of the news stations. There was no Fox News then, and CNN was brand new.
Yeah, when it was actually a news organization.
A news organization, yeah. Ollie North, he survived that. But again, the Iran-Contra came out, the drugs came out, the cocaine came, all of that came out. That would never come out in any form of modern government now.
Yeah, I remember. I remember Bill and Ted's Bill and Ted movies. I think it's the first one.
Yeah,
Speaking of time travel.
You just go back to the 80s and the start of CNN, and all that comes to my mind are Jane Fonda's workout videos. Seriously.
Well, that's
that was telling. One attractive woman, politically imbalanced, but an attractive woman.
Yeah, Hanoi Jane. Yeah, of course. But it's like Bill and Ted's. There's a joke where they're in the Middle Ages and they're dressed in armor, and they defeat a couple of guards. And they go, dude, and they hug each other, and instantly they break and go, fag. You couldn't do that joke now, could you?
No.
Because yet that will offend people. It's like, people that wear armor have feelings too.
Yeah, we've become way too sensitive, and it's not good. And take it from a guy living in another part of the world outside of the first world. Nobody else thinks that way. Nobody. I can tell you that they didn't think that way when I was in Southeast Asia in the early 90s. They didn't think that way when I was in India in 2012, and they don't think that way in Central America. The Five Eyes countries are pretty much the only countries in the world thinking that way. It's not this grand evolution. How they got this many people to buy into it is mind-boggling to me. And when you get into the deconstruction of all this, if it ever really happens, probably most people will just be not interested, or it'll be self-evident after the awakening. But
is that a penis? Hold on, Robert, put that back up. Is that a penis cannon?
It's Barbarella. No, that's telling for your mind, Andrew.
I didn't censor that one.
That's technically pretty phallic there. Would this ever survive in modern wokedom?
Well, they haven't remade Barbarella, which is interesting because it's one of the most famous sci-fi movies in history.
Yeah.
They haven't done a remake of it. Obviously, it's just a little bit too much.
Oh, Patty, are you donated all your Buns of Steel videos today? Aw. What are you going to do?
Stairs. Walk up some stairs.
Stairs, yeah, stair walking.
Well, I mean, see, like when there's a fuel crisis in the United States, I can see the upside to it because all the large people would have to go walking because they won't be able to get in their car. So there's balance there.
Yes, we're going to all have a moment of silence for Patty's missing Buns of Steel video. Did it work? Did the buns turn into steel? Could you crush grapes or walnuts with your buttocks?
And then Suzanne Summers came in after that with the Thigh Master.
The Thigh Master, Suzanne Summers, yeah.
I know the history of female physical fitness the way Monty knows the Star Wars franchise.
Enlighten us, Bruce. Enlighten us of your wisdom of the female exercise.
It kind of loses any and all of its momentum after Suzanne Summers, but it was huge for a decade. The female workout market. Remember that? It was huge.
Yeah. Jazzercise. How big that shit was.
We'll throw Richard Simmons in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, Richard Simmons.
I remember all the back then middle-aged and younger-aged women wearing the leggings to their jazzercise.
Yeah.
They come in like an opera tutu and leggings. And that was like, Robert, if you could find any of those jazzercise video pictures, who might remember this stuff? And going Brandon's over, what the fuck are they talking about?
But my point is it's for each of us, it's the little things that we remember that bring back a whole time. And then when you're back in that time, you can go, oh my God, yeah, now I remember. And then you look at where we're at in 2022 and you go, how the hell did we get here? Like, it's mind-boggling, like how we got to this point and how, it just went into an accelerated drive after 9/11. I mean, the last 21 years have just been nonstop in terms of contraction of news cycles for trauma digestion.
Right? There we go.
There you go.
Is this yoga 1.0 pants?
Yes.
Did women have yoga asses back then?
I like that. There's three things that actually tell the truth on the planet: alcoholics, small children, and yoga pants.
That's true. When we came into the room at the very start of the show, in the chat room, the first comment I saw was from Sean Bibby, and said so many multiple memories going on. And that's what's going on at the moment, isn't it, Andrew? Like the multiple memories of what's happening on the planet is all coming to a head. It's hit the funnel.
So, Melissa, did you jazzercise? Did it hit Australia?
I'm not that old. I'm not that old. But
that's the 80s. That's the 80s. Come on.
No. I paid my own, like, as I went through university, I paid my way through uni by teaching aerobics classes through the 90s. And so it was that was huge then, the old aerobics class.
Was it step aerobics? Was it step aerobics then? That was step aerobics.
Many forms of aerobics.
The high-low class, and with the leotard with the G-string back over the top. Yeah, that was the go then.
I nicknamed those G-strings butt floss.
And interesting enough, we call them G-strings here in Australia. Well, I have no, apparently, because when you see them, you go, gee, I don't know why. But if for the musicians out there who own a guitar, the only string that goes out of tune is the G string. Now, come on, Si, tell me what that connection is.
I will not offend. I will not offend. I will not offend. I will not offend. I will not offend.
So you said two things that you wanted to talk about at the beginning of the show, and I think the first hour, this is all just the extended Twitter talk. But we got to circle back to Ukraine, I think, at some point. That's a fascinating topic for comedic output.
Bringing in the doom and gloom for the comedy show. All right, Bruce, go ahead.
Said it.
Wait. No. Let's just figure out. Is there a way of teaching Bruce how to segue?
No, it's impossible.
We should talk about the Ukraine now.
Let's bring in Bruce's son so that we can properly school Bruce on segues. Brandon, how many times have you heard about those even Khazarian mafias from him? And it's the whole fault of the Abrahamics.
Well, I did down. I basically, we broke it down to the point where it was like, well, you don't see any places of worship up here. You don't see any of that. This is unpainted. You don't got to worry about any of that crap. So stop talking about it.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. That's great.
Brandon, the test here is if you can keep talking without losing your pace when something pops up on the screen.
Yeah, you guys seem to be having challenging internet. It's probably best for you to turn off your video because you're both wobbling a little bit. There you go. Yeah.
Where is Brandon?
He's there. They're turning their video off because they're sharing an internet over there.
Oh no! But where is he in the world? Like on the planet?
Right next, Costa Rica, right next to Bruce.
In the building, in the building right behind me.
The office.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just showing off my cat. I've changed her name to Annoying. So, yeah.
Well, like today, in the next 24 hours, we're going to go back to Ukraine, I promise, Bruce. The next 24 hours, this is me segueing. Watch me segue, Bruce. But so at the moment, it's there. So we're on a new moon. There's a solar eclipse. This is all today in the next 24 hours. Good on Mercury's gone into retrograde again a couple of days ago, and it's a really interesting retrograde. And what else is going on? And then it's Beltane in the northern hemisphere. Well, it's supposed to be down here too, but yeah. No, it's Halloween down here.
And happy birthday, David Icke, who turned 70 this week.
Oh,
nice.
Really? God, I thought he was older than that, but okay. But with all of that madness going on, he looks older than he's taken a beating, that poor creature. But with all of that going on, there's some really weird magnetics hitting the planet, and I love that kind of stuff because it gets a bad rap, the old Mercury retrograde. It's just the balance of life.
What I love is when it comes out of retrograde, everyone has to deal with their own shit again. have to own it.
Double check what you do and make sure it's not that hard.
Stop blaming a planet.
Yeah, but but with everything going on with magnetics, particularly the solar eclipse actually occurring right on this new moon and everything kicking in too, there's fantastic magnetics. We're going to see some lunacy. We're going to see that electromagnetic frequency hit the human brain. People make bad choices, but we're going to see it somewhere loudly. And I think we're going to see something, given what's happening in the Northern Hemisphere at the moment, for sure, we're going to see something significant in Ukraine. Just because it's already so nuts and so incredibly out of balance what's occurring there at the moment, I'm sure we're going to see something. So, Bruce, tell us what you're seeing. What's going on in the Ukraine?
Well, the first question I was going to ask is, the U.S. is in, what is it? What's the tab up to now? Is Biden asking it to go up to 300 billion? What is it, or is it already at 300 billion that they've sent in aid to the Ukraine? And what I'm wondering is, are we witnessing the Biden family scam, like right in front of our eyes, while everybody's start my video? Okay. Are we witnessing the Biden family scam? Is this money laundering? Is that side of whatever teams there are out there refinancing themselves? Because I think they got hit pretty hard when Trump was in office. So that's what I was getting at. Economically and politically, what's going on in Ukraine? Why is that such a powder point? And why did we pick that fight? And we picked it. We provoked them. There's absolutely no utility to NATO. It should have been disbanded 15 years ago. Okay? So why are we doing this, and what's going on? And why is
the military industrial complex needs its coffers to be refilled because they've been letting the Pfizers and the big pharma take the lead and make all the money for so long.
Yeah.
It's always been about money laundering. You're spot on. It's exactly what it is. And Ukraine's the epicenter for money laundering. It's been
And the way that they're pushing the narrative now is they're inching slowly towards using nukes. And you can see the same pattern how we got here. But remember, I made a joke that everyone apart from Russia was saying, "Oh, Russia's going to invade. Russia's going to invade." And then on the date, the Russians turned up. It was like, I thought we were invading today. Everyone else said we were, because they're just trying to manifest it. And the war hawks are screaming that, "Oh, there'll be a nuke. There'll be a nuke." But at the same time as all this is going on, and Ukraine generates a lot of food as well. How many food processing plants in the United States have caught fire in the last 3 to 4 months? We're up to 16.
16,
yeah.
Two have been hit by small airplanes.
Good shot. And at the same time as that, you got Ukraine, you've got that they're talking about supply chain problems and famine, and they're manifesting it all. The United Kingdom government is putting up a campaign of trying to make farmers retire. They've put up a retirement package for farmers.
Yeah.
And it's transparency through hypocrisy. Like, you can see where they're trying to make it go. And it'll be interesting if humanity goes, wait a minute.
Massive animal kills now too, Monty, citing avian bird flu concerns.
Yeah.
Hemorrhagic fever in pigs. Over 11 million pigs have had to been put to slaughter.
Yeah.
You will earn nothing and you will like it. So eat your bugs and shut up.
Yeah, that's a lot of food. Now, the corporate farming system, I wouldn't mind seeing go away. I think farming has become just a cruel, cruel business now when it's done at that level. And I've been both, folks. I was a vegetarian for 10 years, and now I eat meat again on the mountain because I prefer to just eat my food locally, right? I mean, it's pretty easy to be a vegetarian when you've got a Whole Foods down the street, right? And you can go and get the best Indian lentils and curries and everything, but I could be a fruitopian here quite easily, actually, but I don't think you get enough protein that way. So the corporate farming is a really ugly business when they take it out to scale, the cesspools they create in the US. So I don't know, maybe that's part of the karmic cleanup. I don't know. Unfortunately, it also looks a lot like famine, which triggers a lot of people who are invested in a certain belief system begun by a guy named Abraham to start thinking about the end of the world and projecting that on to everybody.
You segued there, Mont. That was a good segue. Did you say?
Yeah, that was a good segue. I had a very, this is a part of my lingering consciousness and my lingering cultural karma, right? I was raised in a very strict Catholic family. My mother was actually a nun before she got married, in a silent order. And quite frankly, most of us wish she never started talking again. That's a joke. Oh, God.
Yeah, tough room.
Okay, that was a hard place to crack that joke. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
mother's a saint. No, really, she's a saint.
The actual hygiene once the meat is harvested is actually pretty good in corporate farming. It's the treatment of the animals.
Yeah, it is.
Before they're harvested, and the vibration and confusion and insanity they create in the animal, and then you're eating that vibration, you're eating that meat. So so I went off vegetarianism, but I control a certain amount of my meat consumption here, and then most of it's local anyways. I know the person I buy my chickens from, and I keep my own pigs, so it's just a lot easier to do, and it's completely different meat. How did we get on this? The Ukraine? Like, how the hell did we end up on?
What I find interesting is, the whole depopulation angle of there's people that want to kill 95% of humanity. Well, the controlling elements are in 3D and 4D. Now, from my bad memory, if we all drop body, we go up a level into 4D and we have more memory of who we are and more powerful than you can ever imagine. We are run by psychopaths and ruled by psychopaths and run by idiots. Because if you kill everyone on this level, we just go up a level and we can defeat them there quite easily. If you kill 3 billion people, the astral plane is going to be full of a really pissed off humanity. To me, it doesn't make sense. Like most things that they do, it's like, are you what? Are you a moron? And the question is, the answer is yes.
Well, look, someone in the chat room asked if there's going to be a nuclear war.
Oh,
I don't think
jump in,
so.
Andrew.
no.
Would there be
No.
at least, will any nukes be fired, or not a war, but would at least one be popped off?
So if there is one nuke that goes off and that's confirmed in the media, the Russia will be a pariah state. Period.
Yeah.
Period. This is all brinksmanship. And if you don't know what brinksmanship, it goes back to the Cold War eras where General Brinks practiced a process of bringing us to DEFCON 2 just to test the other side during political situations, and then putting us in DEFCON 1 situations where the hatches to the missile silos are open just to see how Russia would respond.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's a real strategy. Brinksmanship is a real strategy. And right now we're just seeing extreme brinksmanship. Yes, Russia would become a pariah state. Now, there are other people that have said that nukes have gone off in Ukraine in the 2014 war. Actually, I believe that has happened. A micro nuke and a neutron weapon. But it was so small, it was in the damage that it done in the specific place, it left no radiological warning. No radiological residue. So weapons like that do exist. The Tianjin explosion in China, 2015, another situation of an underground nuke, but that was at the center of all of the major internet hubs was in Tianjin City. And that port was a major port. The damage was done. They're still recovering that port. Again, that was also another nuke. But there you're seeing the deep shadow state manipulating the governments into suppression.
Yeah.
Yeah. If a nuke goes off there and it's not Russia that did it and it's not the states that did it, the shadow corporations, the shadow government, they'll expose them. They will expose them.
Yeah.
Because hasn't Putin said if there's any outside interference, there'll be swift retribution?
Yes.
I don't think Russia will be first, but they could retaliate. But still, I'm sure they'll spin it that Russia bad. Going back to World War II, it's like, the fire bombing of Dresden. Most people aren't aware of that, but because the fire bombing of was it Canterbury? Yeah, Canterbury. The thing is, Canterbury was after Dresden. It was the Germans responding. The Allies were the bastards first, and then the Germans responded.
Right. And then the firebombing of Tokyo killed more people than both the nuclear bombs going off at once.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
and that was planned, just pure carpet bombing because they knew.
Yep.
Now, people would make fun of the Japanese. They build their houses out of balsa wood and rice paper. They live in an earthquake fucking area. Do you know how easy it is to rebuild using balsa wood and rice paper? It's quite easy, and so humans, eh?
Yeah.
So So what did we agree to come to this planet again? Yeah, because I'm oblivious to everything, which is a superpower. But sometimes I'm like, really? So
Well,
no answer.
one of the problems with the problem with the Ukraine is they're trying to number one, they're not paying the performers, they're not paying the actors. Like they're running out of everything. Everyone's people that are actually on the ground that are actually performing, or for whatever show they're trying to convince you of, and not being taken care of either. And it's Ukraine on the whole is dwindling in its capacity to hold, like everything they're doing underground or beneath the superficial facade of a war is still pumping along, but they're not actually keeping the facade in check. It's a little bit like the whole COVID thing. There was an article around the world yesterday about how, they've discovered 2 very strong new COVID strains. Let me tell you right now, the fuck they have. They have not. Viruses only get weaker over time. And the evolution of a virus is for its survival. COVID is not getting fucking stronger. Don't get me started on people being hoodwinked by a virus that is not existent. Okay? No, don't get offended, everyone. Maybe I've just said the most offensive thing. Yes, COVID was genuine. It was out there originally. The first few strains were brutal. What's out there now, there are various versions of Omicron and all the other crap that's coming on. Omicron's not even related. It looks completely different under the microscope to your COVID series.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. They're trying to milk it. They're trying to keep the fear up. They're trying to keep the facade up to keep people injecting themselves with things that aren't even vaccines. They now state that around the world. But Ukraine is suffering a similar thing. The facade is flimsy and the facade is failing with everything that they're trying to maneuver beneath it and all the powers. And there's a lot of, and Andrew goes into this better than me, the integrative powers of what's actually going on beneath this facade is astronomical, and really that would scare the crap out of you. But the superficiality, they're not maintaining the facade. And when I say that, the mistreatment of the people on the ground, the mislead of, or the misdirect of all the whole Russia is the bad guy, all of that sort of stuff going on is failing. They're going to have to amp up the game, and Biden's going to have to throw a few more million in there to keep the facade up if they're going to keep manipulating what they are beneath it. And so, but in that facade, be under no illusions, that facade is creating hell for people. The people there, the actual people on the ground are suffering, and let's not diminish that at all. Yeah. As much as it is a facade for what's going on politically, financially, always financially, beneath a war, there is those that suffer. There is, I wasn't born when it happened. I wasn't born when Hiroshima was hit. But the image of that little girl that was running out of the fire naked, that was burnt so badly, will stay in my mind just from the images I've seen and learnt about it in my education. And you'll see there will be an image like that about the Ukraine. There is still genuine suffering for the human race. And it's usually the humans that are not the innocents, but and at some level they've probably agreed to be, or they've at some level contractually they've agreed to be there in this life at this time. But there are no accidents. But still, be under no illusions that's where, I'm sure that's where Bruce is disgusted with what's happening in Ukraine as well. And it's
you made me really focus in on what it is that's sort of disgusting me when you spoke about the virus. And the next logical question is, why aren't we getting proper counsel from our doctors? I can understand the media being controlled. I can understand no major newspaper giving a column to a contrarian voice, or somebody in the medical industry pointing out what you just pointed out, that the trajectory of a virus is to get weaker. But I mean, when you look at prohibition is a great example of people carrying on independent of what the law says. Law says, okay, we're no longer going to drink in the United States. The result of women getting the vote, that should be particularly comical to Monty as an Australian. But that's
no, you sexist.
The first thing women did when they got the vote was bring that prohibition in to keep their man at home and not go drinking at night. And
that worked out well.
Yeah, it worked out well. But there was more booze in the United States during prohibition than as much or more than during legalization. Mm-hmm. And so you see this resilience in the human spirit. You see black markets pop up in areas that are decimated and stuff like that. Why aren't we seeing that in our culture in the first world? This is what's alarming me, Melissa, is how many people buy into the bullshit. And
it's terrifying.
Or let me just, one more point, Monty. Or is it just the rice bowl phenomenon that nobody wants to, that's an expression I borrow from a great movie from the 60s with Steve McQueen called The Sand Pebbles. And they have this line that, they're a U.S. Navy boat docked in Shanghai during World War II, trying to get along with the Chinese culture. And the number one rule is don't take away a rice bowl, which means somebody's way of making a living. Okay. So is that it? Has the system won completely? Are we living in a kind of virtual reality now? Look at the punishment Trudeau brought to Ottawa. No cops beating people up with billy sticks. We're shutting your bank accounts. We're going after your straw man. We're going after your rice bowl. Okay.
Yeah. And in Australia, and Melissa, you can clarify, we haven't seen many medical people talk against the narrative, because if they do, they can get deregistered, or they lose their job, basically, their livelihood.
They're under enormous threat.
Yeah. And that's part of the control and demolition. Yeah.
I actually said that because I work in hospitals, doctors, specialists all around me all the time. And for those that you don't know, I haven't met me before, I'm a healer. But I actually said to a good friend who's a GP, who's a general practitioner, the doctor you go to if you need some antibiotics or something, right? And I actually said to her the other day, I was talking to her about a patient and all the rest, and we were talking about it, and she was saying, oh, you're due to have your third jab to the patient. And I said to her, we've known each other for a long time. Is there a fucking camera in here? What the hell have they threatened you with?
Yeah.
And I said, how, you know me, you know what I've seen with this. How can you say that to this person who was already immunocompromised? Yeah. How can you say that to this person? And she kind of went really pale and got really upset. And I just said to her, are you upset because of me, or are you upset because you can't tell me what the hell the threat is? But obviously they must be going after the rice bowl. That's all they could do. I don't know. It must be an enormous threat. It must be an enormous threat, because for doctors to compromise that Hippocratic oath the way that they have is astonishing. And those that we see speak out, particularly in Australia, those that have spoken out, oh my God, the retribution's been rapid, and the publicity of how disgusting they are. And God, but Monty has a close relative that Monty was meant to go to a massive a family event, and Monty's been blackballed. He's not allowed to go to it. And
he hasn't jabbed.
On the basis that he hasn't been jabbed. And this is immediate family that have said you're not allowed to come. The absolute, how can you, at this time, in all of this, how can you still be so goddamn ignorant about what a vaccine does?
Well, can I bring in the science card? Can I just talk a little bit of science? I am able to turn up and take a RAT, which is a rapid antigen test, and stand on the veranda. And I not just a family member, but a friend's birthday party or whatever. Actually, it's today. I'm not going as well. But if I have a test proving that I'm clear, I should be all right. But the propaganda is you're not jabbed. And it doesn't matter if I'm clear of the actual disease and all the variants, what is the issue? And it's not a health issue. It comes down to, well, I jabbed myself. I did for the greater good. It's that sort of mentality. Like the family member, like all my parents are basically jabbed because they're in the dangerous. They're not affected. Yeah, at risk. Thank you. Yeah. Just 6 letters, damn it. They're in the at-risk section of humanity. but also my brother's done it. My brother actually, I haven't shared this. They moved from Melbourne because, they said to the family it was COVID, but they moved to Perth.
2,500 kilometers away.
Yeah, which was in lockdown, and of course, when they moved there, they came out of lockdown, and all the cases and deaths and everything spiked. So they left one COVID hellhole, and moved to the next COVID hellhole. And
it erupted when they got there.
Yeah. And so it's really weird. I've got both balanced. Like, my mother has been injected, and she has her treatment, flu treatments. She gets the flu shot every year, and she's, free will. However, she said this to me. I think what you're doing is completely stupid.
Anything she does is,
yeah. She actually said, I think you're mad and you're stupid. However, I respect your decision, and I see them at least one each day. And so, if there was an issue, they wouldn't let me into their house, and they do. Now, the other side, I can't go, but like my grandfather was a chemist. He actually was in the army. He was at Port Moresby, when Australia actually defended its borders. And so they're very medical. But I think also the issue is you have to follow the medical line, because it's from the top and it filters down. And if you're actually doing some research and year 8 science, yeah, but viruses don't mutate.
Yes.
Don't get to think, what I mean? They don't. If you question it, you'll get thrown into a hole for 18 months type thing. And it's interesting where they just follow the line, because vaccines are good. There's proven. And what I find interesting. Yeah, well, that's what I was about to say. What I find interesting is when these issues are brought up, everything that we've talked about on the show or on every show, there's that thing like, if I defend Trump, I'm a Trump supporter. But if I make fun of Clinton, I was a Trump supporter. It's like, no, I'm pointing out that the Clintons are worse than Trump. But Trump said things. Yeah, the Clintons did those things. There's the difference. But
you speak louder than words, guys.
Yeah, you fall into that binary thing. It's like if you attack one side, they believe that you're on the other side. I remember at a family thing, my step-grandmother is a Liberal voter. Now, Australian, that's conservative. Our country has to be special. Liberal means left-wing, except for in Australia where it's right-wing. But I said something about the Liberal Party, and you Labor supporters instantly went into that duality or the binary. It's like, no, I don't vote for Labor either. They're lying cocksuckers too. This is sort of the interesting game we have to navigate, because people fall into that red, blue, left, right paradigm.
Yeah.
Not the left, right, but it's red, blue, which I think even psychologically those colors is there. But if you notice, there's that red and the blue. Even like Knock'em, Sock'em, Rock'em, that game where they punch each other. There's actually a cartoon and a video game called Red versus Blue. It's that blatant.
Yeah, it's a Boolean reality. They keep going, Monty, 0 or 1, and it's just a series of zeros or ones. And I don't think either one is a suitable decision anymore. So what I'm starting to wonder is, like, what is the future going to look like? Is it going to be, can we maintain the centralization? Look, there's nothing wrong with economy of scale. Everything gets cheaper when it's done competitively, when it's done on a larger scale. When it's done on a larger scale by state-run facilities in a communist regime, generally you're a decade away from famine. But when it's done privately, it all sort of works out. And, as Andrew is always quick to point out, there's a lot of benefits to the economy of scale in the modern world we've created. And I guess the question is, can the seats of power that operate it, can they be occupied by integral people? Or is the power... Yeah, so the seat of power actually corrupts the person. Like you get the power and you become corrupted. Because there's never been so much power on the planet. I mean, when you just as close as Hillary Clinton came to getting the White House in 2016, that 5 times bigger than Cleopatra. I mean, how many people were on the planet 2,500 years ago? It just seems like there's a lot more power aggregated, and that seems to be like a motif in everything we do now. Even when you look at computers, and it's on my mind because I keep ogling this M1 chip that Mac came out with in 2020. but it's just this concentrated power. It's, you know, it's almost like some kind of like dark matter coming into our consciousness and our perspective. So the question I'm leaving off with is, can this centralized system, this global system, be productive for human beings, give them their spiritual dignity, and allow us to grow at our own pace? Or is it invariably going to be destructive? Can it only be managed by a series of smaller than a state or a province, smaller interlinked communities of 50 or 100,000 people who maintain, they have their own doctors, their own food supply, everything? Maybe that's what we're going back to. I don't know.
Well, it reminds me of something that Andrew has said many years ago in a YouTube video. Like the one world government, religion, currency, and everything else like that. That's one narrative, or one dream reality. And wasn't there 7,000 dream bubbles on the planet? Or you see where I'm going with this?
At one point, it was 8,600 different bubbles of reality, each with their own frequency of time.
Yeah. And so this is where you get the centralized thing where like globalism on paper sounds good. We all should work together. Even where you got 86 different dreams, you can still like visit and know each other, blah, blah, blah. But what we have is that false globalism where it's been sent down a certain path, and you can see it with technology where imagine, like, Tesla had this, he fixed up a Model T Ford with a free energy device. It was doing 200 miles an hour around upper state New York. And he was asked to stop doing that because he's freaking out all the farmers. So, I mean, the technology that Tesla, that we know of that Tesla had 100 years ago, you imagine the world now if he was allowed to bring that out. I've got a free energy device in the 1920s. And they said, yeah, okay. And how changed humanity is. However, it's all been, it's all this, and it's our version of globalism, and that's it. There's no sort of evolution.
Yeah, I mean, the solutions have always been there. We've had hydrogen engines for 50 years, water-based engines. You can use thorium in reactors, nuclear reactors. The only byproduct is diesel. The solutions have always been there, and it seems that every decision we've made is wrong, since the Industrial Revolution beginning with going to petroleum-based medicines. Everything we've done, our education, our finance, everything we've done is wrong. And when you look at it, within the Boolean model of 0 or 1, it's like sitting down at a blackjack table, playing correctly, like hitting your 16 when the dealer has face, playing by the standard blackjack rules, and losing 100 hands in a row. It's statistically, it's completely improbable, right?
There's someone's playing funny buggers here. It's and I think it's kind of with Sean David Morton's rant yesterday, where like we know all this stuff. Like we don't have to do any recon about the enemy. We know everything that's going on.
Yeah.
We need to do something. Now that gets to the question of like who's going to back up the how do we say it? There isn't any like white collar crime. There's no one to back up the justice. It starts with A. There's no agency or whatever. There isn't.
SEC?
Well, no. What I'm saying is, if we actually followed the laws on the books, we wouldn't have all this corruption. And the people, the Clintons would have been in jail in the 80s.
Yeah.
And so when we need to save humanity, it's like, but we're saving humanity through paperwork. Well, the man with the stick doesn't care about your piece of paper. You need someone to back up the enforcement of said laws, or even just cosmic law or natural law.
So cosmic law's got it covered. Like
let me interject real quick. So everyone that is now listening to our show, if you are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or anywhere else and want to come and join the show, Robert's going to put up some information for you to come on down, join the Zoom room. We are going to take calls. It has been some time, guys, since we've taken any calls. And this is the moment where I normally call my audience chicken shit, but I will divest the authority to the rest of the guests here to encourage your asses to raise your heads.
Well, I've got one straight off the bat. I don't think Melissa has done any call-ins on the comedy show. So if you would like to speak to two very attractive Australians, I know them. They're next door. They're awesome. Or you can talk to us.
That's right.
And if you don't, you're chicken shit.
While we're waiting for that.
And no one has raised their hand.
Scary. Like,
Hide Homer.
We
Bruce
got
mentioned-
one that isn't
Two.
the chicken shit.
Two hands up. Two. Out of 44, two. I'm not going for the statistics for that.
And right now we have, I believe, about 100 people on the YouTube side and another people, 100 or so on the Facebook side. Get your asses here into the Zoom room.
5. I'll stop doing that. It's going to get annoying.
And how many have raised their hand because we call them chicken shits?
I don't think any of them. I think these are all legitimate.
All right, Robert, spin up the wheel of 5 callers and see who the universe picks.
Hey, first person, he was fast. Hide, Heidi, Homer.
Heidi
Hi,
ho!
Homer. Hi, where are you calling from?
Oh, wherever. Everywhere and everywhere.
Well, welcome. What do you think of tonight's show so far?
Oh, God, it's kind of all over the place. I guess I guess it's funny and frustrating at the same time.
That's why it's funny. It's just to help with the frustration.
Yeah. Well,
How I feel about buffets in Fort Lauderdale.
or or in what's that smaller town out, not in Vegas, not Reno, but
Pahrump.
Laughlin.
Or Pahrump.
Pahrump. Yeah, I don't know exactly what I want to talk about, but I guess what keeps coming around to me is one of the things that I said in the chat. We humanity, not this show in particular, but we just keep going round and round and round. And most of us, nearly all of us, don't recognize why. And I wish more could see the bigger picture, zoom out, zoom back. And when you talk about macro volts in your other show,
Yep.
I want to talk about the macro picture, like the bigger picture. And I can't have the conversation with most because I'm just crazy. People look at me like crazy. Like I used to go around asking people, does time really exist? And they just didn't want to have the conversation years and years ago. And then I come across this show and you talk about time isn't real because it's just, a part of this
agreement.
experience.
The time is just a social agreement.
Right, exactly. And it's the end result of everything that happened because we chose to come here, and the perceived separation from the source caused distortions upon distortions upon distortions. And that's why it's so hard for us to figure out what is really going on. What is the solution? Can we have a government that works? And it begs the question for me. It won't work until people recognize, and Andrew, you talked about this in your book with Bruce, it really won't work until we recognize where we come from the core, from the source. And we're not human. These are just suits, costumes we can change out whenever we choose to come back. But we don't remember and don't know that what we're actually stepping into. And so we forget. And the real work is really just remembering who we are at core. And everything else is just whatever, the latest story or the trendy film or, whatever people are coming up with is the reason of the story. So for me, the humor is I just sit here scratching my head and, what was it? Sesame Street, the little alien bugs that yup,
Bling,
like,
bling.
bling, yeah, yeah, exactly. So for me, the comedy of the error of coming here and not remembering why, not remembering who you are, not remembering where you come from, is maddening. It's like the Acme, Roadrunner, Coyote, Looney Tunes running through the wall, and then the shape of the body, but my hands are up waving and I'm screaming, get me out of here. But I'm here, so I try to enjoy as much as I can, and this is part of that.
Yeah, I was going to say, and add to that, you're also here to have a human experience as well. Like, it's to remember, but also, you know, have you tried fruitcake? Because that's awesome. You know, there are certain human things. Now, obviously, some people, it depends on what you chose before you came in and what you created in this life. Because I've met people that they're very rare, but there are people on this planet going through whatever is going on, and they're having the best life and without knowing anything else. Like, they've got a good family life, they've got a couple of businesses, they go ballroom dancing, they own a shop, they do all this stuff. They're living the best lives ever, and I think they're just happy to be here. They're not like forerunners like us. I even said that to Melissa yesterday. Is like, the old world's shit, and being a forerunner in the new world kind of is a very unique experience.
Well, yeah, and I mean, people are coming to have a human experience. Some are, and they're just happy to be here. And some of it is because, you know, I like beer, or some of it is because I want sex, or some of it is because, you know, Earth is beautiful, and there are many aspects of the planet that offer whatever a semblance of gravity or whatever. But I do wish to disagree that I think most beings, or I feel most beings, think they're coming here for something that they don't really realize what they're in for. And then they forget that why they even chose in the first place, like these contract revocations. We have to revoke all these things because we didn't know. I mean, we knew we were signing up for it. We agreed, but then we were also told, you will forget. Is there anything else you might want to do? Because there's an infinite possibilities out there. Why would you want to go to Earth?
Yeah, it's like,
because there is nowhere else that is doing this at this level.
Yeah. Doing this. What is that though? Doing this. What is that?
Literally this, the School of Hard Knocks, where you get your double PhD in the spiritual School of Hard Knocks, because this place is about learning the exact essence of source connection, source disconnection, and the infinite amount of ways you can be disconnected from source and connected to source simultaneously, through culture, through lies, through government, through banking, et cetera, all the different ways we have been disconnected from source, and the infinite amount of ways we can reconnect through source, even through this vicious system of forgetting.
Oh, I don't see it as a school. I see it as that's the result. That's the effect. Like, now you have to remember. Now you have to realize that you were never disconnected from source, even now.
That's why you come here, to learn source connection, source disconnection at the highest levels.
I just think the pamphlet we were given in the spiritual realm was like a timeshare resort pamphlet. Oh, look, Earth, it's all cool. You'll learn all this stuff, and they don't put all the shitty bits in. So I would like to see who printed that pamphlet. That's the issue that we have.
I would say that they do tell you about the shitty bits, and they tell you you're going to forget the shitty bits. So do you want to make another choice? No, I'm going to go. I'll remember. I can do it. But I don't see it as a hard knock school. I don't see it as a way to evolve. You can evolve in all the ways that as a soul or a spirit aspect of source. You can evolve anywhere on any level to whatever degree you wish. There's nothing specifically special about this place other than the fact that, how is it? If the Earth and the gravity, and you see if you see that, I don't know how they show it, like if you see space and you see the planet and then the gravity of the planet or the body. And of course it's like it's in a big sock, and the planet is currently pulling itself out of that deep, dark aspect that it has been not put into.
I will respectfully disagree with you on the fundamental concepts of you can do it anywhere else. You can't. And as I said, respectfully disagree. This is the only place in our section of the great galaxy conflagration of stuff going on where all this is assembled in one place. This entire solar system was assembled from the ground up to resolve time travel karmas from hundreds of thousands of different societies who had negatively erased time for whole sections of beings who lost their frequencies of light, lost their physical bodies. And there are 66 planets in this binary star system that we have here right now. And Earth is the pedestal, the top of the peak of the part when you graduate Earth, you have your double PhD in the School of Hard Knocks, which is strictly the essence of source connection and source disconnection. And yes, young souls do come here, but the majority of the souls here, 75% of them are very old souls. And with that, you don't get to do it the easy way anymore. And unfortunately, those younger souls that have come in the last, let's say, 25,000 years, they've gone through a lot of the war, et cetera, but they haven't understood the previous generations when we still had a golden age here 30 million years ago. And 75% of the souls here are still here because they were at a golden age and they needed to see the bottom and then the rise back up to the golden age. And as we do, the older souls will leave and the younger ones will come in. As I've also stated, we're also at the point of our galaxy. There's a portal to another galaxy that is a brand new galaxy. And this particular planet is a 7th dimensional galactic seed planet. Its purpose is to seed life on all these new planets and solar systems and galaxies that are existing. We can have the capacity, each individual being here can have their own infinite space separate of everyone else in which they can grow 1 billion trees, 1 trillion fish, and then teleport from here to our moon or directly graft them onto the surface of another planet. And we will be regaining that as we come out of the dark age and more into the golden age, but we still have a lot more of the pendulum to swing up as the control system that is here, that is by design, called the Galactic Ascension Machine, to keep people locked in this repetitivity of source connection, source disconnection, source connection, disconnection, until such a time there is no longer a source connection or disconnection process. There is a continual source connection, lifetime to lifetime, which then breaks the great forgetting.
And I'm sorry, Monty.
I was just going to, and also, isn't there the challenge of this as well? Hasn't that process kind of been hijacked? Because there's an element like, aren't we? It's going slower than it should be,
we're way behind.
So I'm just wondering, because people say
this version of humanity, whatever few thousand years it's been, we're way behind by centuries of where we should be in the evolution of the human existence. But that's not to say we're not where we need to be. Bruce used a term before that I loved, where he was talking about, is this dark matter entering our consciousness now? Is that what it is? I hope it is, Bruce. Dark matter is a great place for creation.
That's right. It's not a great place to create light.
That's right. And
Homer. Hi, Homer. Thanks for calling. We want to get to a bunch of other callers. You were a fabulous caller. Thank you so much. You got a lot of great wisdom in you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
All righty. April Polston, you're next.
April Polston, are you there?
I am.
Where are you calling from?
Well, tonight I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Tulsa, Oklahoma. Welcome to the show. What do you think about it so far?
Oh, I want to thank you for being here, and each of you for picking this timeline to drop into. It's a wonderful conversation. The funny part that I was laughing about today out and around is somebody said to me, "Oh, you must be an alien." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're the first person that's noticed that." And it was really, and it didn't turn heads or anything. And I was being serious, of course, but I was laughing about how we are all wanting to expand, but we're not really accepting that our only goal is unconditional love, self-love, and to create from the heart. And we should throw out all the rules and regulations. And I don't want to say the 10 commandments or what each religion's teaching. I'm not going there. I just wanted to know why we can't teach everyone that we create from the heart. And that's how we get elevated and keep moving along. And this remembering thing, it would just pop back in. I'm lucky enough to have bleed through remembrances, and it makes my life a lot easier. I don't have a particular question. I just want to commend you guys on batting it around. But if Melissa had something to say, I'd sure listen.
Oh, so, on which topic? Which topic would you like me to say something?
Well, just about how to work with those kiddos or the people that don't understand about creating from the heart.
Oh, look, the beauty of working with kids is they do. If you ever want to know if you're doing well at being a human, kids under 5 years old and dogs, if they like you, you're doing okay as a human.
Yes.
That's right.
Bruce, you're not under 5.
And so I actually teach a children's program where I teach them to do the healing process that I do. And the kids program, when I teach the 3 to 7 year olds, I run it for 2 hours. And in 2 hours, it takes me 2 hours to teach kids, but it takes me 2 days to teach an adult. It's just, kids know. But in terms of sharing it, look, by the sound of it, you already are. If someone's noticed you got a bit of alien going on in there, that's awesome. It's like you're sharing things well. You're right about, we create via the heart. Absolutely, we do. It's an amazing communication construction in there. But you also shine from it. And one of the many, many processes I do, I'm a healer and I do it via transfer of frequency. And I can do it sitting on a train, and I can project and work on the guy sitting at the opposite end of the carriage in a crowded train with everyone else there, and he gets what he needs. Or I can project it out entirely. And that sounds like if someone noticed that you're a little weird and you've got a little alien going on there, that's a great sign that you're actually, by osmosis, starting to bring shift around you anyway. Your vibrations reached a point where it's high enough that you're connecting with people from that heart level, certainly beneath the consciousness, that's bringing people around into light. We're seeing that more and more. We are actually seeing that. It's easy, back to Heidi, or Heidi-O, wherever she is, but it's easy to despair. And I was going to say that to you. I get it. In this lifetime alone, I've gone through a couple of big phases of fuck the human race. You can go screw yourselves. I've had enough of this. I'm working with animals. So it's like, and I've had a couple of phases of that. Yeah, Bob rides it through.
Well,
but,
without any details, Melissa, I still have those what the fuck moments. Like everything that you go through, I still ask me, what the hell did you agree to? With everything you've gone through.
There was a gorgeous moment not long ago where Bruce said to me, I need you to be careful. I need you to watch out. You know they're going to come after you if you go in there and bat for these people. And Bruce, the amount of times they've tried to take me out in this lifetime for what we're actually doing is amazing. And the way they've done it's been so cruel and so vicious. And the stuff that goes on in this lifetime, where technology's not been our friend. You know, we've seen technology advancing from the 1970s to now. It's just been absolutely mind-blowing, its evolution. And at the same time, we've watched the human race hit an absolute stagnation. Yeah. Socially, connectively, we have not budged since the late 60s. And so technology has become the greatest weapon in our disconnection. And so it's used against ourselves. Like, you know, we actually can't help but be addicted to the crap. But at the same time, what we're doing right now is we're all here talking about it. We're connecting. The power of all of us coming together right now, the vibration and the ripples that go out from this is incredibly positive. It's incredibly full of light. You'll walk away from this show, bizarrely, we've talked about things that are dark and unhappy and laughed at, you know, Amber Heard. but at the same time, the ripples that'll go out just from us coming together and accelerating together in that vibration is amazing and will actually emanate across the planet by osmosis in your house. It'll affect people. You'll see it.
As a comedian, as a comedian, if you look at it through this lens, once you graduate this school of hard knocks, imagine the stories you can tell the rest of the galaxy when you're out there.
Exactly.
You
the
did
shit
what on
we
earth?
will have to teach them. Exactly. All right, April, thanks for calling in. Robert, let's spin up the wheel of colors and see who is next. We'll do some lightning round calls.
All right. Dandelion Healing Tribe.
Dandelion Healing Tribe. Are you there?
I'm here, you guys.
Hi. Where are you calling from?
Well, right now I'm at my carriage house rental. I just came back from Lake Louise this morning.
Oh, Lake Louise. Beautiful place.
Yeah.
Oh my God. it this morning. It was just heavenly.
Yeah.
And the mountains have changed so much. I saw a dragon. I took pictures. I've got pictures. I've got evidence, honestly.
I totally believe that. Yeah.
Oh my
Don't-
God.
For those of
Incredible.
you, for the listeners who don't know, Lake Louise is in this part of Alberta and this part near Banff, and it's just one of the most magical places I've ever been, and I live in a magical place. It's absolutely beautiful. Good for you for getting out there.
Oh, I last night I guess I got in about 12:30. The guy at the front says, "Do you have a reservation?" I said, "No, I was brought here to do some healing."
For future, if I may, just for future callers, when Andrew asks where you're calling from, he means on the planet. Just don't say the lounge room. Just putting it out there. Now I know where you are because I have no idea where that lake is, but now I do. So thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my.
And I know, just say,
magic,
as an
powerful
Australian to a Canadian, you're braver than us. Your country's kind of weird now.
Yeah, when you see Lake Louise, you're just expecting this female hand to come up with Excalibur, holding Excalibur. Like it's beautiful.
Well, the lake was still frozen, totally frozen in like at the end of April. Usually
Yeah.
it starts to thaw, but people were walking all the way to the end. It was incredible. Yeah, I hadn't seen that for a long time, but I hadn't been up there for 22 years. So I was, it was like I was doing a bit of a shaman journey over these last 3 weeks, and it was like, okay, Banff, Lake Louise, Banff, Lake Louise. I'm really tired. I would really like to go to Banff. However, Spirit led me to Lake Louise. So it was beautiful. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So did you have did you like the show today? What did you think of the show so far?
Oh, I've watched you guys. You guys have been my lifeline for 2 years as a recovering breast cancer. And for probably a year, my body's just been on fire trying to get rid of the excess radiation. And in fact, I reached out to Melissa, how long ago? What, 2 weeks ago? And I couldn't connect with you on Zoom. We did distant healing, but you released my crown chakra. I'd been trying to release it myself. Yeah. I was watching your guys' show, and you have a problem when you're almost throwing stuff at the TV. How many more spiritual ceremonies do I have to do to get this? Like, seriously, I was in turmoil almost. And then, Spirit just guided me to Melissa through Nikki DeCroach, through the UCM TV. She's a good palsy-walsy of mine. And so she had mentioned it, and then it just sat with me for a bit. And then all of a sudden it's like, yep, I need to contact Melissa. So I did. And within 2 days, whoomp.
That happens. Yeah.
But then yesterday, oh my God, in Calgary, it was wobbly here. It was like I'd had 10 wobbly pops before I woke up in the morning. It was crazy. You could feel things and move. And I took pictures. I had 2 suns in the morning. The sun is just intense here, which thank God, because I hate cold as I'm getting older. Yeah.
No, the 2 suns is fascinating, isn't it? That's to do with the solar eclipse. There's been 2 suns in the Northern Hemisphere for the last 24, 36 hours in various places. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Well, I got pictures this time.
Is that because as our planet goes around the sun we see, the other sun sort of is perpendicularly? Oh, now I want to have a beverage.
That's exactly yesterday. Oh my God, that's why I had to get to higher hills.
But thank you for the last listening for the last 2 years, because that was basically the concept. As like the lockdowns got a month in, and only reconnected with Andrew about 3 months earlier, and our normal conversations we're just laughing. And remember the first 2 or 3 episodes, all can be seen on Wafer Thin Entertainment, by the way. I remember Andrew saying after a show, like the next day, my face hurts because I was laughing and smiling so much. It's like, yeah, the power of comedy. And so,
during that period too, Monty said, "Oh, you need to meet Andrew," blah blah blah, and I tuned into when Andrew does his readings live on air, and Andrew went through his own phase of sick of the humans bullshit, and was really quite upfront and confronting with some of the people that called in, and he actually became a bit of a lifeline for me because I needed to find family around the planet at that stage, and to find the Galactic historian out there doing the incredible work he's doing, although he was going through that great phase of wow, sick of people shit. And so it was good to see that too, that he's still working the human in there as well.
Well, that's the fun part of doing the comedy show is we try and make people laugh, and then once we run out of, because we're improing for 2 hours, so if you stick around long enough, we'll get into the saucy deep stuff, information, and we had a ball because I think David Icke said, "Why would you want to be sane in an insane world? And if it's clown world, don't become a clown, but enjoy it from a soul level, human level. Be aware." Let's be fair. Let's be fair about that one. But you are a spirit having a human experience, but it's not one or the other. There is an element of balance. Like I've had lots of conversations with Andrew on air and off air, where why do light workers charge money? Because we have to fucking buy food.
We're still here.
We have to eat.
Feed my kids.
Yeah, and we still have to be human, and that's part of the experience as well, with the whole connection disconnection, as well as being a human. And that's the fun part of your.
I've had that so often. Have you had that a lot too, Andrew? I've had that so often. I'll be at some massive mind, body, spirit festival where I'm speaking on stage, and I get off stage, and the first thing is some woman coming up screaming at me about how God gave you this gift. How dare you charge for it? Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I don't let any of that stuff bother me anymore, and it comes down to that's their issue to burn through. Yeah, their issue to burn through. Anyway, Dandelion, you said you're recovering from cancer. We helped you get through. Any memories of some of the things we might have done to help you get through this?
Well, your comedy shows, because I initially I thought they sucked, but this one's really good today, you guys. You guys get plus today. You did actually, as Andrew would say, you got your A+ for spiritual journeyism in comedyism.
Finally.
Nice.
I've got to say, Monty's coming out with stuff today that I'm thinking he has been listening. Like he's coming out with some spiritual wisdom. Make think Mont's been listening.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm called a lazy Time Lord, the word lazy is a positive title. It's not a negative one. Oh, you're slack. No.
That's actually how Monty keeps his own house clean. Monty keeps his house clean because he's lazy. That's he's got to. You should write a book about how.
I'm super lazy. Yeah, like if I make a mess, I try and clean it up straight away, because if I let that go, it's going to grow and mind you, I'm not perfectionist, because I kind of need to clean the house. However, I'm helping my immune system, because normal people couldn't live like this.
Sure.
Darling, thanks a lot for calling, and we've got some more people we want to get through and go through some lightning rounds. All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
Don Darcy, signal to unmute.
Are you there, Darcy? Sean Darcy. Hello, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from, hold on. I'm calling from Australia, state Queensland, city of Townsville. Is that enough for you, Monty?
Yes, thank you. Yeah. No, I would have actually said the lounge room. I would have taken that as well. Perfect time. I like Townsville.
And again, I wonder how they got the name. 2,500. That's probably another 2,500 kilometres away from where Monty is. It's still,
technically,
it's a big place.
Yeah, technically, they're closer to the sun than we are, Melissa.
What do you think of the show so far, Sean?
A lot of burning passion.
Thank you.
Yeah, the way you guys speak is it's like I can just see the fire just growing and growing. It's like, whoa. They're very passionate about this.
Yeah, got nothing
Why
else
we
to
do this? That's why we do this. Literally,
you got to do what you're good at, and setting fires metaphorically is better than physically.
Do that.
I was always called a firebug as a kid. I never understood it.
It could have been the matches. I don't know.
So, is there anything that you want to talk about? Anything you want to say? Did we make you laugh today?
Yes, you did make me laugh a lot, out loud.
Did I get you to spit your drink? Did I get you to spit your drink out?
Do you want me to?
No. I want it to be natural. I thrive when I naturally get people to spit their drinks out. You'd be surprised how many emails I've gotten in the 10 years where people are trying to send me a bill because they've spit their drink out all over their laptop.
Oh, the or the keyboard or something like that. Oh,
yeah. As a stand-up comic, one of the goals is doing stand-up comedy is to make someone's drink come out of their nose.
Yep. And if anybody is in the chat room right now, if I have made you spit your drink out, please give me a little bit of it. What might have I have said? Yes, I've made her drink a spitter drink out, and a few others I know in here.
Can I actually announce there's going to be a new merchandising on the Galactic Historian website. It's called the Anti-Comedy Sneeze Guard. And so what will happen is you put it on your screen of your computer, and there's a small wiper, and so you won't destroy your own computer now. So there you go. The Galactic Historian Comedy Sneeze Guard. Get that this week. Nice. That's a joke, by the way. Welcome to 2022. I have to point out that's a joke. I don't want someone looking for it for 4 hours going, I can't find the page.
Wait, it was a joke? My God, yeah. I thought you were actually playing. I thought it was a real plug.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry. Knowing how I work, I'll probably manifest that in a week. I'll meet someone at a pub somewhere. It's like, yeah, what do? I make sneeze guards. Really?
I mean, it would be a very beneficial business, of course.
Yes, it's been a good night if I get one of you to spit your drink out.
Yeah, success.
So, in your time of listening to us, what has been some of the more memorable things that have made you laugh?
I would say not in the Friday comedy, but there was a playlist that you do. I'm going to plug you, Andrew. That was the Galactic Historian series. It's at the very bottom of your playlists in your YouTube. And it was one that we have soul codes to other universes that haven't existed yet. And I just laughed because I'm like, oh, that's what it was about.
Yes. That's because we're a 7th dimensional galactic seed planet with all its individuated purposes, because we're a solar system built from the ground up to resolve time travel karma from dozens of different galaxies. And the worst polluters are here now in the 66 planets and the 7 billion human beings on our surface and the, let's say, 9 billion beings on the subsurface, and then the 11 billion beings in sub-Oceanus and the 30 billion beings in the astral world are all a part of this great graduation process. And when you understand the soul commerce process between galaxies and solar systems and how celestial sources trade mathematicians, sorcerers, thinkers, cooks, grandmas, etc., this place needed the oldest souls as the majority of the anchor to go through what we were going through. And if it wasn't old souls, none of us would have ever remembered our potent powers.
Old souls, what's that?
That explains why I'm so tired. I'm old.
We get our free cup of coffee, our one free cup of coffee each lifetime.
I like that.
You got your senior citizen soul card. Yeah, your senior citizen soul card. It allows you to have the early bird special.
I've always said the first thing that happens when you reach 5D is a being gives you a 6D bus pass.
That's right.
You spend about 1,000 years going, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. All right, Sean, thanks a lot for calling in.
Thank you, Andrew. Oh, wait, I forgot one more thing.
Go ahead.
I've noticed that no one, whoever have called in, have not thanked one person. I would like to take this moment to thank Robert. Thank you so much for being here and helping everyone and like everyone in chat and coming up with these beautiful memes.
The true hero
Yay,
of the story.
praise to Robert.
Legend.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate
Legend,
that.
Robert.
Thank you. My pleasure.
One of the
All right,
fastest
Robert.
memers in
Thanks for
South
that.
America.
Hold on, Robert, now that you got Trigger Video back on, Robert, show everyone you spinning up the wheel of callers. And who is next?
Who is next? Let's see. Oh, where'd you go? I had you. Steven's iPhone.
Steven's iPhone. Are you there?
And hopefully Stephen as well.
Steven. You can do it. You can unmute. I believe in you, Steven.
No, it's
Well,
just the iPhone. The iPhone likes the show, yeah, not Stephen.
All right, let's go to Michael.
Michael, are you there?
Oh, is he an archangel?
Hello,
Hi, where are you calling from, Michael?
I'm calling from Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
Greenburg, Pennsylvania. Welcome to the show. Have we made you laugh tonight?
A little bit, yeah. I have a very weird sense of humor, though.
Well, have we tested your levels of weird?
You truly have.
That's a great comical compliment. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about tonight?
I don't know, honestly. Is there does it really matter?
No, you're a comedy show where we take nothing serious, so anything you want.
Did you just raise your hand because
oh yeah, I just kind of raised my hand because
I called it
watched
chicken
this
shit.
show
how dare you say
early on 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember, I was a YouTubian back then, and I've been a YouTubian for quite a while. So I remember at the end of the show, you would ask for everyone to call up, and you'd make fun of everyone calling them chicken shits.
Yep.
And I didn't want to be called a chicken shit, so I figured, fuck it, I'm just gonna raise my hand.
proving that you're not a chicken shit. So I mean,
True.
we've achieved something today. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
You're
official. Right. Michael is not a chicken shit. We were going to send you a plaque. I am not a chicken shit plaque.
It's in the Akashic records. It's been
So what go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
I am also really interested in the history of cultures, especially Eastern Europe. That's kind of an obsession of mine.
So where are you sitting? Where are you sitting with the Ukraine, Michael?
I think I don't know everything that's going on, obviously, and I'm not going to claim to, but I think that I think it's way more complicated than what anyone's being told. I think that it's a really big war of information right now. And I watch Monty's show on YouTube every week. I haven't got to watch the most recent one, unfortunately, yet, but I like to listen to that show because they talk about current events, and I pretty much agree with everything that they're saying on that show and about the current thing in Ukraine. I think that Putin is actually being a lot more humane than what everyone's saying. And I think that a lot of people are just virtue signaling at this point, saying that they support Ukraine to try to make themselves sound good, I guess, to bump up their own egos. And I heard the one guy on Monty's show mentioning that, I think it was that show, or someone mentioned, I don't know if it was a YouTube video or someone mentioned that Ukraine was Mexico to Russia, or no, Ukraine is Russia's Mexico. Yeah, the same way that Mexico is the same way that Mexico is to America. And,
full of drug cartels.
Yeah. Did you say that?
Yeah, it's me.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Hey, Mont. Mont.
Yeah, and I agree with exactly
Michael watches your show every week.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. It's a radio show.
But I think Ukraine's been corrupt for a really long time, all the way back into the days of the Cossacks. Because if you go back there, the history in that time period is extremely fucked up, and you have all these like power hungry like pre-oligarch type people trying to push their agenda on everyone back then, even still, from what I've read. So I think the corruption goes back a really long time in Ukraine. I don't think that's a new thing at all.
No, that Cossack period's a really fascinating period.
Yeah.
On Earth, it's a really cool one. What were you saying, Andrew?
Why couldn't they? It is as why couldn't they just resolve their big karmas by having their version of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, the Russian and Ukrainian version of it?
That would be.
Well, it's been going on for a while. Like, if you're a James Bond fan and seen the movie GoldenEye, the Cossacks are part of that because of the betrayal after World War II, where I think a certain tribe actually, they went to England and said, yeah, we fought for you and we'd like to get away from the Soviets. And gone, no, go back home. And they were slaughtered. So you can see why they're slightly upset.
Yeah.
All right, Michael, thanks for calling in. We want to get to a couple more callers before we call an end to the show. Thank you so much for calling in. And next time you're listening to Monty's show, call in on Rev Radio over there and talk to him there too. They have open round tables.
All right. Unfortunately, that's like 2 a.m. for me or something like that. But
same for me.
Yeah. But I mean, thank you for watching the YouTube. So at least I have a listener, ladies and gentlemen.
As you
so
said,
he's not a chicken shit, and he's a listener.
As you said, I guess I'm one of the tens of the people that listen to you.
Yep. Thank you very much. Yeah. Love you, brother.
All right.
Love you
All
too.
right, Robert. Let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
I like the sound of this one. Ricky's iPad.
Oh,
Ricky's iPad. Are you there?
I am.
Hi. Where are you calling from, Ricky?
Orem, Utah.
Orem, Utah. Welcome to the show. What do you think of the show so far?
Oh, it's amusing. It's enjoying. I love this kind of stuff. I've seen a little bit of it here and there, but not a bunch.
Did we make you laugh? Did we make you laugh today?
Oh, I've been giggling. Absolutely.
Good. Good.
With the magic underwear people there in Utah?
Oh, you might say that again. I think I know what you said, but am I a part of that tribe?
Are you with the magic underwear people there?
Oh,
magic long johns?
Tribe. I always have had my own tribe department amongst every other tribe that there is. So I seem to blend into many tribes.
He's a free baller. So what did you want to talk about, Ricky?
Well, everything that is going on and that has gone on since my early ages in this world, and now they're just really being shown. I'm just kind of selfish and wondering, where do I fit in and what am I doing and where to proceed? Because I'm in a transitional spot in my life with business, relationships, and everythingness. And I seem to know a lot, but I don't understand what I know.
So you know what you don't know, but don't know what you know. And therefore, what you don't know is what's affecting you now.
So you're saying you're a human?
That too.
Oh, no, he's a human that's evolving.
You are in the conundrum of the curse of living in interesting times.
Andrew, I still maintain we have to discover time travel and punch that Chinese guy from 3,000 years ago who said that.
Yes, because that is an ancient Chinese curse. They live in interesting times. Part of your confusion is you don't know where you fit into the chaos of this world. And the thing is, you don't have to fit in and you don't have to conform.
Yes, I know that. I've always been the rebel and paid dearly for it. And I've been.
Rebel is still conforming.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's still conforming.
Is it like a cat be a neutral observer in that respect? Because if you don't want to play, to win a spiritual war is not to be in the war.
Exactly.
So Ricky, did I hear you right that you were saying, like, we are in life, everything's hypostatic, that you're wondering where it evolves next? So everything in this life, can I ask how old you are in this life?
According to the calendar.
I'm sorry,
50.
how old? 50. Oh, yeah, me too. All right. And so everything's evolving right now. Well, look, right now is the time for everything to change. I know it feels like crap because you're just saying about everything about relationships, work, business, all of that's going on for you at the moment. And everything feels like it's shifting and there's no stability at the moment. It feels like you have no anchor at the moment when you're actually talking about that. I'd say that I'm actually really excited because I know that means you're about to shift up to a whole new freaking level. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
When everything gets thrown into that sort of, whitewash, it's about to turn into something really quite beautiful. And so the fact that it's happening right now, where this world's in such an amazing mess, and we're in a position where we're actually, as a human race and as the individual that came here, we're in a position where we can evolve and choose to accelerate into a whole new level of that too. It's really cool that you're feeling it so profoundly in the human experience. I know it feels like crap at the moment because there's a lot of instability from your perspective, but that's about to evolve to something great. Is your question about what you do next, or what you need to do for yourself?
It's like I'm in this in-between stage where I know exactly what steps need to be taken, but I can't quite seem to do it because I'm overwhelmed with the totality of all of it. And so I'm kind of, it's like I'm stuck, but I can't get unstuck. And it's like I know, but I don't know.
It's like you're in a waiting room.
Sleep paralysis.
You're in a waiting room and you're like, I've read all the magazines, they're crap. This music's pissing me off, and I know I'm going somewhere, but I'll have to wait. Also,
which is almost like using that metaphor. It's time to go up and complain.
Go up to the receptionist.
That's right. It's time to go up to the receptionist and complain, which in galactic terms is to well, Andrew, how's the best way to complain?
So this is understanding even your rebel energy that got you through whatever life is a form of conforming to the system. There needs to be a non-conforming conformist within you. You can't conform to the reality that's around you, and all the non-conforming energy that's in you means you don't have an ability to launch the rocket. Now, you don't need a Jeff Bezos phallus rocket to launch off. You just need to take one step. And your fear is about that first step. So what if you make a step? So what if you fall on your face? Okay, it doesn't matter. Just take one step once a week. A child will get one task done. Learn how to manage your schedule in a different way, and understand the spiritual practices are an extended thing that you've got to commit to. And when you start committing to the spiritual practices, you break the stagnant energy.
Yes. I've been sitting in ceremony with grandfather for a couple of years now, and I've started a year-long shamanic course because that what was coming out. So I'm going towards that department and trying to shuffle all the rest of it. Really. Okay.
Where you're at, do you have access to anyone that can do sweat lodges?
I'm actually looking for a place to do a vision quest in June, and we will be doing the sweat lodge. Then we'll build one and do the vision quest for 4 days and sweat lodge then. But I'm not sure of. I'd have to look into that.
So right now, all throughout that area, there are many native tribes. You can head up to the Uinta Basin, and you just got to find out who has the open sweats that you're able to go to. First thing first, sweat is about community and prayer, and understanding how your prayer affects your reality. And there's one thing about Vision Quest. All too often, too much pressure is put on a person, and the style of the Vision Quest is usually too much pressure. Most people in the native tribes didn't do a Vision Quest until they were much older. Yes, there was the original child's version of finding their name, but those were not the harsh types of Vision Quests that are out there now. And in all reality, you need the community prayer group. And if you're one of those solo practitioners, you got to figure out how to break the solo practitioner energy within you and let that community energy in. Because it goes, once you learn to pray with the community, the ancestors are always in the ever-present moment. And one of the reasons I'm able to do what I do is I work with the ancestors all the time. They brought you to this call. They were the ones that manipulated the wheel of callers so you could have an opportunity and speak.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever done any type of ancestral offerings to the land?
No.
Well, start with that. You'd be surprised what one shot of rum will do when you put out there for the spirits. And all you got to do is put some of the wisdom you've earned and learned in your life into it and offer it to the spirits that are out there. And then the next day when you come out, half of it will be evaporated and the rest of it goes on the grass as the offering to the grass spirits. Okay. And then if it's not that, it's something else. Apples, oranges, food for the animals that are out there. Learn how to have those offerings truly mean something to you, because again, it's that gift of wisdom and the gratitude that you receive back from the spirits that are hearing and understanding that wisdom. The shamanic path is both light and dark. And what is the dark? Our own inner selves that don't want to have the light shined upon it.
That's right. There cannot be shadow without blockage. But I agree, Ricky. Invest in the return flow. Give out and it comes back. And the more that you do that, the more it's going to expand.
And if you haven't already shut off the Facebook and the YouTube and stuff like that, cut it in half, if not more. See where your time is stolen and steal your time back from yourself.
I spend a lot of time in the mountains, just wandering, just through and connecting with nature. That's what brings me true peace.
Well, don't wander too much.
No. Wandering is good. There's nothing wrong with that. It's when you're not wandering. When you're not wandering, what are you doing?
Not much at all lately.
Then change that.
I mean, I always have music going, but I mean, there's not a whole lot going on. So now I'm starting to work on this community garden, building, just start to work on that garden with my medicine woman in that tribe. And so, it's part of it is engaging in tribes, engaging in communities. And I've been alone for so long that it's just, it's scary, but I'm also know that I'm powerful enough and intuitive enough and have a great amount of wisdom that I don't know where it comes from yet, but it's just there to have. It just comes to me and I process a lot quickly, and I can see an instant big picture with everything, and it's hard to communicate with people that don't follow. And yet there's one person who just came into my life now that she does, and so it's amazing, and like a new beginning in many different aspects at this juncture and within this last week.
Well, the universe has its own divine timing, and now that community is there, what can you give back to it that has prayers behind it? Prayers for those that you've met, prayers that to those you will meet. Understand that prayers can be sent forwards and backwards in time. Time is irrelevant to prayer.
Yes.
And when you enter that prayer space, when you're walking and you're wandering through the mountain, you're actually in a prayer space. But learn to do something in that walk that has a strategy of prayers behind it. Like you're going to go wandering, you're going to wander for 5-6 hours, how much water you have. Well, make the next journey you would do about sending prayers to the future you who's going to be sitting back at his house, not knowing what to do. And all that wandering energy will come back to you in guided, focused prayer.
I love it.
Okay?
And I do. I sit in prayer a lot. With everybody that I know and have known, backwards and the present.
But when you begin to focus prayers solely on your future selves, you begin to understand how to receive your own prayer.
Yes.
And that's one of the hardest things about prayer to learn, is to receive your own divine blessings.
Thank you.
Okay? Also, when you're on your journey, look on the places that you're walking for different objects, such as little sparkly stones or something like that. And every mile or so, or every few hundred, maybe half mile or so, pick some up, put them in your pockets. And every time you stop, make a little stacking of rocks and make that little place that's a bunch of stacked rocks a prayer point. then after a while of days and weeks of prayer walking and stacking rocks, you're going to run across your own stacked rocks. Okay? And there's all sorts of beautiful prayers that you can put in there that will be available to anything else that's wandering through that area. And let's say maybe it's lost or it's hungry, redirect it to where the water is.
I love it.
Yeah. That's the wisdom you can give as you're walking and wandering.
Thank you.
Okay? And the next thing to understand is you have ancestors who are walking with you. Ask them to literally walk with you hand in hand. So after a while of projecting of the prayers and the ancestors, we will literally see them manifest around you.
I see plenty. I mean, I don't know what I see though. I get these. I mean, I was walking through the night, and it's like I'm seeing other dimensions, other worlds, other lifetimes. I do different breathing as I'm walking, and it's like I am still here in my physical, but the whole physical realm around me completely disappears, and it's in constant change of all the like infinite other lives from other perspectives. That's not only mine but others, and I'm just learning to navigate whatever all this is that I'm seeing.
And as you direct prayers to it, like a Rubik's Cube, it'll come together.
Okay.
All's it's waiting. That when you're seeing everything change that fast, that's the operating system waiting for you, the user, to input into it. To slow it down so you can perceive, receive, and understand it.
Yeah, well, yeah, because sometimes I can barely even stand up right. It'll put me instantly on the ground, and I'm almost convulsing in this. I'm like shaking. I don't know what the term word is.
Because you're over breathing. You're bringing too much energy into you too fast.
Oh, okay. So slow that down and see
you
into
gotta
it
slow.
clearly,
You gotta slow that down. Exactly.
That's always kind of been the issue. Is I see so much, but I go from the very extreme to the present. And it's like, well, what is all this in between? And I can't see it because I'm moving too fast.
Yeah, you got to slow down. You got to slow down to painfully slow. One of the hardest things that I learned about the skill was slowing the data down so I could process it.
Yeah, putting the filters in.
Yeah, and then I learned how to take the filters off. Filters are there as a powerful tool to remind us it's easy to go to the extreme, too fast, too far. Okay?
Okay.
So make yourself a walking filter that helps you slow down. Like obviously a really good one is following the turtle as a totem. Okay? The turtle and the hare. Why does the turtle win the race?
Slow and calculated.
Slow and steady.
Slow and calculated. So let yourself, feel the energy of the turtle moving with you as you're going through the mountains.
Excellent.
All right, brother. Thanks a lot for calling in. You've been fun to talk to. All right, guys. We are at the end of the show. Melissa, you want to give a way for people to get a hold of you?
Just sprung me typing in the chat room. Sorry. Hi, everyone. Yeah, go to melissahockinghughes.com. You can find me there. You can find me on social. Oh, there you go. You can. Oh, that's when I brushed my hair. Yeah. You can find me. There's all the contact. There's everything there. But you can find me on social. Reach out absolutely for anything you need. Absolutely, I'm available for healing sessions or anything if you want them. But I love doing the show. You guys are an amazing family to share this stuff with. And so big thanks to all of you. Big gratitude and love to each of you listening and watching.
Bruce, do you want to give a way for people to get a hold of you?
Amazon.com. Buy a book, buy The Galactic Historian. If you haven't gotten it, you'll be reading it for the rest of your life on and off. It's a beautiful book. Yeah. And if you want to try Coureur de Bois, if you want a really good novel, it's a very magical novel published in 2007, but there you go. So I also want to say that I really enjoy these Fridays. They're very constitutional for me. I look forward to them. I never remember when they're coming. It's fine. It's funny because I need the reminder the day before, but yeah. But yeah, I really enjoy them. I really enjoy the energy, and I get a lot from them.
Yeah. Monty, you want to give away for people to get a hold of you?
Yep. Okay. I have a weekly radio show on Revolution Radio called Planet Collingwood. It's a roundtable. Bruce is usually there. That is at 2 a.m. Wednesday mornings. The archive version of that show actually goes up on my YouTube channel, which is Wafer Thin Entertainment, which also can be found on Rumble, Odyssey, and BitChute, as well as a audio version on Anchor FM, which is connected to Spotify, Apple podcasts and all that. So Wafer Thin Entertainment. On Twitter, if it's not a battlefield, well, it's more of a battlefield, but it's less hellscapey now, at Real Monty Dean. And Wafer Thin Entertainment is the main place. And put in Monty Dean and then find out there's a movie called Waiters, and it stars Ryan Reynolds, and one of them's called Monty and the other one's called Dean. And this show.
All right, Robert, turn on your camera. You are living in Colombia and have recently set up a special deal. Why don't you talk about the email that come out, and for anybody else that might be interested in doing an ayahuasca journey in the Colombian rainforest?
Oh, awesome.
If you go to your email and you're on our emailing list, you'll see all the information. It's a journey in the heart of the Putumayo jungles where the ayahuasca vines are born and grow. And the folks that I met that run these ceremonies down there are totally dedicated to healing, to preserving the jungle and the nature that's in the area. The last trip that I was down there, it was beautiful, pristine. We saw jaguar tracks in the jungle. Mosquitoes weren't bad. I thought it would be really bad. I had an amazing journey down there, and all the information's in the email. The next event coming up is middle of May, around May 13th to the 22nd. So if anyone is moved to do a journey, you need to act quick. There are other opportunities after that in a different location, and it's all in the email.
And what you can do is go to andrewbartzis.com and sign up for the email list. Yes. You can also contact the Facebook page if you want, if you didn't sign up or didn't get the email, and we can send you the information through Facebook, YouTube, or not YouTube. We don't do blah, 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 blah. We can send you the information so you can get access to look at it all. And please think about that. This is one of the reasons what Robert said. We want to be able to offer a service to people that can go through somebody that's trusted so that you can get your healing energies on. All right, everybody, you know who I am. You can go to my website, andrewbartzis.com. You go to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, anywhere else, and find thousands of videos. Please like and share this video, and we will be back next Thursday with another call-in show. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Each different bubble of reality is true.
A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma.
Nudge, nudge. It's the Holy Grail. Improvise. Mysterious. It's counter psychic intelligence.
Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important?
Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.
Hello. Let's create, let's co-create, and let's change this world with love. No matter if you're from Alpha Centauri or Earth, we all began with the same birthing process. We live in a limited point of view. Living the mystical life daily is about striving for the unlimited point of view. Each day, each human being gets an infinite amount of choices. Living the mystical life daily is about facing obstacles and challenges. Though level of awareness that you are working at means you have a responsibility to be equal with it. How does one truly let go of expectation? You can make the moment that you wake up to the moment you go to sleep sacred. The keys to success: choice, 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 and choice.